Good Tuesday morning. It's the main event. The rain might be over. We might dry out a little bit. Trees will stop being uprooted from the ground with strong winds, with all the moisture we've had over the last couple weeks. And I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. Also, inadvertently knocking over some trees yesterday, folks. And you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. And woo-wee, he is excited for Bruce Cooper to come in today. Dale brought his boxing gloves. Dale Hillistrey, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen. Yeah, I mean, we got the nice guy of the program, we got the eye candy, and then we got you who revels in ruffling feathers.
Hey, I will bring the fight to you if you allow me to do it.
I can't see myself on the screen in front of me.
Oh,
so
is it off?
I'll
Well, look at the big one next to it.
That's kind of awkward to be looking this way, isn't it?
Nah, well, don't stare at yourself. Maybe that's why
Look
we
how
had to.
good I look.
Maybe that's why we had to turn it off, though, is because you're staring at yourself too much. Oh, we'll get it turned on. We have a skeleton staff today until Riley gets here, so you're gonna have to live without looking at yourself.
I will be fine.
Trust me, you're on. It's not just your voice on there. You're there as well.
Well,
You're
some
good to
people
go.
say my voice is enough.
Well, who says that?
A lot of people. They don't
Give
need
names.
to see. They don't need to see my face.
I want to hear some names on this. Guarantee it out there is what I want to know. How was your Monday night? Rainy Monday night.
It was a rainy Monday night. Got together with a couple buddies last night. I mean, a lot of sports on, a couple football games. It's so the 4:15 kickoff is just
Ridiculous.
so weird.
I stayed here late yesterday to get a bunch of stuff done and everything, and I was thinking it was a 5 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
So I left here 3:30ish, and I was like, oh, plenty of time. I'll just go home, then I'll go back out, pick up a pizza, I'll watch the kickoff. No, I missed it by an hour.
Yeah. 4:15. I'm like, oh my, and it's a Monday, and it's like, wow, that's just so. But obviously, got 2 football games. You have the baseball game. So I went and met with a couple dudes I've known for a long time, and hung out, watched all 3.
All 3.
Yes.
Baseball was pretty good there. Robert says, are we color coordinating now? Yeah, we got together. We're both in red. I'm in maroon. He's in red. Not quite the same.
Both of the top of our heads are shiny.
Yeah, well, I put my stuff on. I must have missed the spot though.
I at least try.
I missed the spot right there.
Yeah.
No, Dale wears Dale wears pretty much the same outfit rotated throughout the week. And everything. I have not done laundry, so I had no clothes.
I try to
my last
rotate
shirt.
the shirts.
No, you do. Yeah, it's
But
gray.
I can't remember what I wore
But
yesterday.
my point is, it's black, it's gray, it's red. I think of the 3 colors you gotta
Blue.
go around.
I got some blue.
Oh, you got blue. That's kind of what we have to go through on that perspective there. But thanks for noticing, Robert.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, especially early on when I came over here to do the TV thing as opposed to radio. I was like, okay, when's the last time I wore this shirt? Because like I'm paranoid. Like, did I wear it Monday? Did I wear it Tuesday? Did I wear it last week Friday? Am I wearing it on Monday on accident after laundry? I was so paranoid about that at one time. Now my closet, this is how sick I am, folks. My closet is color coordinated off of when I wore it last. So now I know if I go to this corner, I haven't worn it in a week. If I go to this corner, I probably wore it last day or 2. That's how sick I am in the head, folks, when it comes to this stuff. Just a little behind the scenes nuttiness there by Uncle Steven. So baseball games, what do you think of them last night?
Other than I'm spot on with both of them. Nothing changes.
Told you Seattle was going to win that thing. You made me pick Toronto. You made me pick Toronto.
Take the viewers behind the scenes. Steve texted me Sunday. Hey, who do you got in the baseball thing? You pick. I'll take the other team.
You want to know? And so, what you don't know is like then I went and saw a movie, and I was like, all right, I got to think about this.
Now, hold on. What movie again?
Tron, the new Tron movie.
And?
I liked it. I thought it was great.
Okay.
Jared Leto is one of those actors that is really good. Like, he draws you in, and he's really good, but you also don't like him. It's a weird thing that I go through with him. I don't know what it is. I I don't know if it's because I know how he is on a set, and I know how he is behind a set and stuff, that it kind of bothers me. But I thought it was really good. It's Tron. It's science fiction type stuff. But I enjoyed it. It was 2 hours of get away from the crappy football that's happening in the world out there on Sunday.
Is this another?
The third one.
It's the third one. Okay.
So they just build
I
on
haven't
top
seen
of each
any
other.
of them.
You didn't even see the original Tron back in the day?
I'm not a sci-fi guy. I never saw Star Wars.
Yeah, that just blows me away. In the 70s, you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Your dad wasn't just like, hey, let's go check out this new thing down at the Cineplex down here.
I don't know if my dad ever went to a movie.
Really?
I remember I had to get permission. The first movie I ever saw was a movie called The Poseidon Adventure.
Okay, I was gonna say I was gonna ask, like, okay, I gotta think here
Yeah.
on how benign this movie was, but you had to get permission to go see it. It was The Poseidon Adventure.
Because it's PG, I think. back then.
I'd say that was controversial in its day.
Yes. So that would have been
Yes.
probably 1970.
Yeah, it had to be early.
Yeah, 71 something. And then,
Nowadays, you watch it and you're like,
and then unless I've told you, I'll give you $1 if you can guess the first concert I went to.
you've told us. I'm gonna think about it for a minute. You've told us, but I don't remember. I'm thinking Doobie Brothers, but that was
No. Much better than that.
It was very benign though.
Much better than that. At the State Fair, no less.
Yeah, you've told us this, and I can't remember.
Well, then why don't you listen to me?
I do listen.
You always say, "Oh, we heard the story," but you don't know the ending.
Well, I remember your football stories because I'm writing a book. I'm gonna write a book of my experiences in football, but they're gonna be your experiences in football.
My first concert ever that I saw was at the State Fair, and it was the gorgeous Tennille.
Captain and Tennille, that's right.
Tennille.
See, I never would have. See, I'm gonna forget that again because I just lose so much respect for you.
Muskrat Love, are you kidding
That you
me?
went to a Captain and Tennille concert.
Love will keep us together.
I
Is there
probably-
anything better?
No, they have some good songs. It's just here's my question. I probably asked this before. Did you dress up as Captain?
I did not because we're at the State Fair. I didn't know who they were.
Sure you did.
But
Sure.
I
you
did have a crush on old Tennille.
Okay, then who'd you go with if you didn't know what was her name? If you didn't know who she
Bunch
was,
of the neighborhood kids.
some
they
of the
said,
boys
"Hey."
were just like, "Let's go catch this
No,
Captain." and Tennille."
there was girls there too.
Yeah, this is my point. You went because there were girls there also.
Yeah,
I
and
went
then I
to-
ended up falling in love with
I
Tennille,
went
and the
to-
rest is history.
I went to Debbie Gibson in like 6th grade, 5th grade or
You
something.
can't bust my chops.
No. But that was because girls were going, and we were invited. Some of us boys were invited because girls were going. So we're like, "Oh, we love Debbie Gibson."
Oh gosh, I just love the C notes coming out of her mouth, and
I don't know what you're talking about, man. Lost in Your Eyes is a banger. I get lost.
no, we don't need
In your
either. Neither one of us need to try and recreate.
And I
it.
feel this banger, Dale. It's
Wow.
amazing. I don't remember my first concert.
You do or you don't?
I have no idea
Oh.
what it was. Yeah. I did. Rumor has it, I've been told, I saw Elvis when I was a kid. Let me rephrase that. Because I was born in February of 77. He died in August of 77.
So you saw from inside the womb.
No, I saw. I was born in 77. But I was supposedly in the nursery of the International Hotel, or the where they watched the kids. That was back in the day where you just handed your kid off to somebody else and you went and had fun in Vegas.
Who cares?
Yeah, leave
No
them alone.
background checks.
I can tell you, as family in Vegas and as many times we've been to Vegas, I can't tell you how many times I was just lumped off with some stranger at a casino so everybody can go out and have fun as parents. Different time back then, Dale.
There's no doubt about that.
It's just nowadays.
No.
It doesn't work that way like it used to. Oh, geez. Captain and Tennille.
Yes.
And
And I have told you about my first concert, kind of as a grown up person bouncing for AC/DC.
Oh, yeah, AC/DC, yeah, that had to be rough with all the.
Well, not going into it. We were at SMU, and they were going to pay us like $75 or something to go bounce for this
Just for the night.
concert series, just for the night. And
That's
Say,
good
well,
money back then.
We didn't even know. We went to Reunion Arena in Dallas, and AC/DC. We had no clue what AC/DC was. This is 1981.
Yeah, they weren't huge like they
No.
became. That's probably right as they were
And they had
taken
me,
off to the stratosphere.
and they had me right in the front, all of us, and all of a sudden, we're looking around, we're seeing the clientele that's coming in to Reunion Arena, and then we're noticing there's a distinct smell.
Yeah, I would say not just cigarettes. There were
No.
cigarettes and other stuff. in
A
there.
different smell, and then all of a sudden,
And you all failed your drug test at SMU the next week.
that they were doing them then.
Secondary inhaling.
But all of a sudden, this little skinny dude with jeans and no shirt comes out with a sledgehammer.
That's so awesome, man.
And a bell comes out of the ceiling, and we're all going, what? And now they're rushing the stage.
That was back when they allowed you to rush like that. Yeah.
And we're looking at each other, and I'm looking at him, and I bounced to the other side of back when I could move a little bit, bounced to the other side. So I'm not dying for that guy up there. And all of a sudden, he does those bing. And started out with Hell's Bells.
Loud.
Yes.
I saw AC/DC later in life, so this had to have been 20 years ago now,
Yeah.
early 2000s, and we sat right by the speakers. We were like row 6 off to the side a little bit, and the speakers were like right there. I could not hear. There was a ringing sensation in my ear for like 4 or 5 days after that, man.
It
was the loudest thing I've ever been to. And then you got that bell at the end, and then they go, fire! And the cannons go off. And it was just like,
Yeah,
it was so awesome. I
It
couldn't
was
believe
because
it.
all of us had no clue who they were.
Yeah, that's the difference. I went in knowing what I was going
Yeah.
to experience. You, on the other hand, were like, "What?"
And then the very next weekend,
And they didn't have earplugs back then. Like
No.
people didn't show up with earplugs back
no,
then. So
no, and we weren't high. And then the next week we bounced for a show, a guy named Peebo Bryson.
I would say probably the opposite. Yeah.
Peebo Bryson singing all these quiet love songs.
I was going to say, wasn't he like an R&B guy?
Yeah, but very sedate. Like give
where
me
everybody
this.
sits while he plays and they
Yeah,
clap when he gets.
yeah.
The other loud one I had one time was when I was a kid. I don't remember who it was. It was somebody in my family in Vegas took me to a Travis Tritt concert, which, outlaw country, and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he literally comes out. So he comes out behind you, and it's like him and his band, and they're on their Harleys. And so they're driving their Harleys down the aisles, they have them all blocked
Really?
off and all that stuff. Couldn't hear the rest of the concert. Those Harleys were not quiet. It was like you couldn't hear anything else afterwards. So anyway, Dale, what? What? What are you saying? Good old times back in the day. Captain and Tennille, folks. It was Dale's first
She was
first
pretty.
concert.
A little bit older than me, a little too old.
I was gonna say she had to been like 20 years older than you by that point.
Yeah,
wasn't
she's
she?
probably mid-20s, and I was
Yeah.
10.
That's okay, because my big one is holy cow.
Cher.
No. God,
Come
no.
on.
No, Cher. No.
Come on.
No. Holy cow. It'll come to me. She sang with Tom Petty all the time. Holy cow. I'm drawing like a complete blank.
Stevie Nicks?
Right. Thank you, Stevie Nicks, yeah. She's way older than me. Like, she's your age or older. But Stevie Nicks back in the day.
She grew up here, or
She
grew up
did.
in Scottsdale.
She did, yeah.
I think she went to Saguaro and Arcadia.
Did you know her?
No.
Was she
She
the
was older
Arcadia?
than
Was
me.
she the Arcadia one?
Yeah, I think
A lot
she
of people
went
did. Wonder Woman, Linda Carter grew up here.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Steven Spielberg did his first movies on 8-track here in the Valley. I think he was Phoenix Union. Wasn't he like Central or something to that effect? I don't remember.
don't
You don't remember that? You don't remember running into him?
No.
Hey, is that Stevie Spielberg over there?
You remember when the 8-tracks came out?
Oh, I was too young when they came out, Dale. I wasn't
Okay.
around for that. But my first car had an 8-track player in
Yeah.
it. My 71 Plymouth Roadrunner back in whenever I was 15 and a half, 16.
Remember when those came out? It's like, oh my gosh, you can listen to only the music you want to
Yeah, you
listen
could
to.
fast forward it.
Yeah.
Remember, you press the button, it goes. "Zzz." Oh, yes. And then they get all stuck in there in the heat.
With no air conditioning in your
Yeah,
car.
well, that's my 71 Plymouth Roadrunner. I rebuilt it to original specs. It was my dad's car when he was in the military in Las Vegas. Then we kept it in the family. Other family members had it, but it just sat there. So when I turned like 15, my dad bought it back, and he was like, "Are you going to help me fix it up then for your first car?" And I was like, "Yay, let's do it." Turns out I hate working on cars, but it was a great experience because I know enough now to, pretend like I know what I'm talking about and everything. But we rebuilt it and we put vinyl seats back into it.
Really?
Oh my! It was miserable. I'd be driving that to work in the summertime, just sweating, stuck to it when you get out of it. No AC, windshield wipe, or windows just rolled down, trying to get air. It was all right until you stopped. That's what I remember. Like, it was just hot air blowing on you when you were moving. But if you stopped at a street light, it was just unbearable heat barreling through that car on you, man. Bruce Cooper joins us today. Should be here in just a little bit. We got a lot of coaches speaking last couple of days. Dale?
We do.
Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. Both in a similar situation.
It's and they're polar opposites on how they're handling it. This is an amazing, and I don't know which one's right. I will say this: I like Kenny Dillingham's better than I like Jonathan Gannon's.
Okay.
Attitude towards that, but so we'll get into that today. Of course, Seattle's up 2-0 on Toronto, just like I called it.
I'll take whichever team you don't want, Steve.
And I picked the wrong one. I hemmed and hawed for a long time. Oh, yeah, because you interrupted me with a movie talk. I hemmed and hawed for a long time on who I was going to – because my heart says Seattle, and I want to Seattle do it. I want to see Seattle do it. I just thought after that big game, 18-inning game, opening in Toronto, Toronto's been playing really well. I just thought Toronto would have the advantage from that point, setting their pitchers, all of that stuff. Boy, was I wrong, at least in the first two games here. Coming up, Dodgers last night. I mean, that was a fun game last night.
That was a fun game.
Right off the bat, though, this is what if you are not a baseball fan, I understand it during the regular season because it can get boring and mundane as the season goes on. I'm with you, by the way. Baseball is my least favorite sport, regular season-wise, because it's just mundane. And it's a lot of nothing happens for weeks at a time. Stuff that doesn't matter happens for weeks at a time in the regular season. You can literally go on a 10-game losing streak and still make the playoffs because 10 games and 162 literally means nothing in the span.
It literally means one football game.
Yeah, it's like – so there's a lot of mundane about regular season baseball out there. So I agree with you if you're not a baseball fan. But the playoffs, on the other hand, I don't know how you can't love the magic of Major League Baseball playoffs. Doesn't it seem like every year something improbable happens? Whether you count the Diamondbacks' run to the playoffs, the World Series a couple years ago, back in 2001 with the Yankees, just what they did to get to the World Series, and then the Diamondbacks beating them at that point. You have back in the day Kirby Puckett launching a home run for Minnesota against the Braves to win that. Like, you can go through all these playoff and World Series scenarios. Kirk Gibson. Doc Gooden and the boys, back in the 80s. You can just go through years and years and years of years, and there's always something in a year where you just go, never seen that before.
Yep.
Wow. And that happened last night in that Dodgers-Milwaukee game. To the point where, and you could tell it's special when the player that makes the play goes, "What just happened?" while he's in the outfield, has no idea. The announcers who watch a lot of baseball are like, "What just happened?" The umpires are like, "What just happened?" Yeah. And everybody in the world's going, "What just happened?" Yeah. It's a weird, special play to happen. And the best part about it, everybody got it right in this moment, which is more fantastic. There's no controversy involved in it. If you don't know what we're talking about, Brewers made a play in the outfield off of a hit. We'll show it to you here. Here's the play. Brewers, Dodgers last night.
Pitcher. Brewers set up for two. And Muncy skies one to center field, hit well. This one's got a chance. Freeland going back to the wall. He leaps. It's in and out of his glove, but he caught it. And now chaos on the bases. Might have a play at the plate. The throw. Not in time. No, he's out. He's out. It's
What's
a
with
force play.
They're going to show the replay first.
Also, did he leave early? Once it hits the glove, you can leave the base. It hits the wall.
It's a force play then.
And now it's a force play at home.
Let's see. And the throw beat him.
Yeah.
So you're going to have bases loaded and 2 outs.
3 outs because Contreras ran to third.
This is so great. Look at everybody else running back to the bases.
The sequence here.
That's the best shot right there.
Will Smith at second.
Okay,
You
so
know the
So a lot of people didn't know you can leave the second it hits that glove. It doesn't matter if it bounces around or whatever. It hits that glove, you're safe. You're free to go. So whether he catches it or not, it's mundane at that point.
What happens if
Doesn't
he
matter.
hits his glove, and then bounces over the fence?
Oh, it's a home run. Yeah,
That's a home run.
Yeah, that's that old Canseco play where it hit him in the
That
noggin
was his head, though,
and
wasn't
then
it?
bounced
Yeah.
over. Same concept,
Okay.
you know. Yeah, but that's where you learn that rule. But a lot of people didn't know if he didn't catch that cleanly. So you could leave it that second, and you saw that in that big one. He ran back to third to go back to run home, which delayed him. Whereas, it's like, okay, interesting from that perspective. Then it becomes a force play. Normally, you'd have to tag at that point, but he didn't have to because of the way he caught it on top of it. It just chaos ensued. Everybody got it right. There wasn't a ton of controversy involved in it in terms of that stuff. And then anytime that the broadcast has to put up the rule so everybody can see the rule in the middle of a game, you know it's just an amazing play to have happen out there. And that's, to me, is what makes Major League Baseball playoffs so great. Just stuff like that happening just brings it to another level.
Well, as announcers, you sit there and I don't ever want – because there's no way you can read the whole rule book.
No.
And you know the basics.
Yeah. You've seen most everything that's
but
going
when
to happen.
something happens that you haven't seen, and I'm sorry I don't walk around with an NFL, college, and high school rule book.
There's been a couple times at high school games I've had to go to the internet and be like, what's with that rule?
Right.
Like a field goal attempt that goes into the end zone is a touchback?
Yeah.
That actually happened at a Queen Creek game. We had to look it up.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
So again, in high school, why not try a 50-yarder?
That's what I can't remember who the team was, but that's what they did.
Yeah.
They tried a 55-yarder. Got it. Now, if it's short of the end zone, you can return it.
Right.
And he got it into the end zone. So the coach obviously had enough faith he could get it to the end zone.
Right.
But it was like, what? So, yeah, there's always rules like that you just don't know. And you won't know unless you see it because you're not reading that rule
Right.
book. That happens a lot in the indoor football league where everybody, even in the press area this year, everybody's like, what just happened? And nobody knows.
Well, the other thing, and you bring up the indoor football league, they'll change rules in the middle of a season and
Yes.
sometimes not even announce it.
They'll change it
Yeah.
right before the game.
You know?
You won't know about it. Yeah, I know. But a catch is legal if the ball is finally held by any infielder, even though it's juggled, or held by another fielder before it touches the ground. So if it went off his glove and somebody else caught it, obviously an out or that situation. It's legal at that point is what the rule is. Runners may leave their bases the instant the first fielder touches the ball. So, I mean, you still have to tag up, because he was out. So
Right.
you still have to tag up, but you can leave this first instant, which should tell you have more time to get home because the ball's floating through the air and he's got to recatch it and throw it in. To still get thrown out in that situation means perfect throws and that stuff.
But
And
the
then-
batter's not out.
no, the bat he was out because it was caught in the air. Yeah.
Even when it hits the fence?
Yeah. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just the catch side of it. Yeah, it's still an out. You can juggle it.
Oh, we were
1,000
trying
times.
to figure that out and watch.
Yeah, no,
that.
it's still an
We-
out.
We did not have the sound on. I thought the batter was safe.
No. Still an out. It can juggle 1,000 times as long as it doesn't hit the ground. You're still out. Yeah, but that's why everybody was running back. First and second was running back because you still have to tag up. But then my other side of it is in that moment. Do you see how close that play was at home?
Yeah.
And for the umpire just to go,
Well, you
have some moment. What moment you're in right there, umpire? What is that? Like it's some mundane throwout at home.
How long have we been doing this show? How long have we been doing this show, you and I?
2 years,
2 years.
roughly.
For 2 years, I've heard somebody sitting to my left drone on and on and on and on and on. The game isn't about you, umpire.
No,
The game isn't about you,
no,
umpire.
it's not.
And I'm not sure now who said that. And now you want it to be about the umpire.
It's not about the umpire.
You can't be
no.
pleased. You
need to be in fact. This is the problem. The umpire failed in that moment. Kobe, do you have it again? Just play it to where the guy gets thrown out and the umpire, and you'll hear the guy say, and he's out. No, he's safe. Watch this. This is why
Safe
you have to
now.
be emphatic with your throw right here.
He probably doesn't even know what happened.
He was questioning what's happening. Here it comes, right here. Listen to the announcer.
The throw, not in time. No, he's out.
That's why you have to be emphatic. One, it's a big play. Show off, big boy. It's your one chance you're going to show off, umpire. But most importantly, you're emphatic about the call so everybody on the field knows if he's out or not. They're obviously paying attention to a lot of other stuff, and if you just go, how many people missed that signal? The announcer didn't even know what the call was. None of us at home knew what the call was because he goes, no, you stand back and you go, hi-ya! That's what you do, Dale. And everybody knows that he's out in that moment.
And if he would have done that,
I think I heard
you
my
would have
voice.
been in. You would have been in here this morning.
I think I scared Bruce.
you would have been in here this morning going, would you look at this idiot umpire making it about him?
No, I would. Not in that moment. I
Oh,
wouldn't. Not in that moment. I wouldn't.
Understand something, folks out there. And Autumn and I know better than anybody. It's really hard to please Steve.
What is that? Just
He listens to Steve McCollum. You're not the show, umpire.
watch. Well, this is how you do it, Dale. So everybody knows, right? We got Bruce Cooper coming up next, of course, in for this segment. And folks, come on back to the main event. Ah!
Yeah, and we're back. We're back. And Steve, every morning comes in here. Hey, it's not about the umpire. Why you gotta do the big strike three?
You know, I heard Steve's take, on the sideline. And I love Steve, but I mean, he couldn't be more wrong.
Yes.
I mean, for crying out loud. Hey, I'm sitting here watching the game.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I did not know that rule.
Right.
That if it goes off your glove to a wall, back in your glove, it's like it hit the ground.
Yeah.
You're
No,
out.
well-
I didn't know
Well,
that.
so I gotta be clear because I might have said it incorrectly. Once it hits the wall, it becomes a save. That's why the batter was saved. That's why it's a force out at home.
Well, that's why.
Yeah,
that's
on the
what I
outside.
asked you.
So yes.
Well, no, if it hit the wall.
I was
it's
talking
like-
about the guy at home is what I was talking
If
about.
it hit the wall, it's like hitting the ground.
Yes.
Yes,
And if it
that's
hits
what I
the
mean.
ground, okay,
That's
and
why
so-
it became
and
a
so-
force play at home instead of that. So I
well-
might have missaid that because I was thinking about the guy at home is what I was
Okay,
focusing on.
and so not only did I not know that, but neither did Teoscar Hernandez sitting at third base.
Yes.
It's a confusing play. If no one's ever seen that,
you saw the guy at second, the guy running back to first as well to get back to the bases
Sure,
to tag a ball.
sure.
So that's the point.
But the
yeah.
one that counted was the
sure.
one.
So at this point, it's not about the referee. You can't get on the referees about this.
No.
I mean,
Well,
absolutely.
he wants
or
more
the umpire.
demonstration. But he's come in here for 2.5 years and said, "Why does umpire have to go strike three? It ain't about him." That's what he said. It ain't about the
Oh,
umpire.
I get it. I
And
get it. So now
he's
he
saying-
wanted a
Yeah,
demonstrative
now,
out
yeah.
at home
But that's
plate.
my point, though. Nobody knew the rule, and an umpire just going. There's still some questions in that moment.
Well,
but that's
that-
what I love
that-
about. That's
that-
what I was saying before you walked in. That's why I love Major League Baseball playoffs. Just every year, 2 or 3 times, something magical like this happens where everybody, fans, players, umpires, announcers, people around the game are like,
But you know, here's the deal. Why I'm not going to even look at the umpires not being demonstrative or not, because you talked about the 3 base runners who didn't know the rule.
Yes.
There's obviously a player on the field who did know the rule, and that happened to be the catcher.
yes.
Because the catcher didn't even try to apply a
Tag him.
tag.
Yep.
He stepped on the base and then immediately ran to third,
Yep.
knowing that would be a double play. So, I'm not going to penalize him because he knew the rules and no one else did. No. Hey, that's a learning situation, not only for those 3 base runners, but for us viewers at home sitting watching as well.
Well,
We'll
so
never
the
forget
base
it.
runners didn't know it. The first and third base coaches didn't know the rule.
Yeah.
It's just something you've never
Yeah.
seen.
I
It-
wonder.
it's
I
crazy.
wonder if they were paying close enough attention. Kobe, can you run it without sound just so we have it on the screen while we talk about this here? But I'm wondering, like in that moment, you're not as a base runner, you're not watching to see if it bounces off the wall when he misplays this.
Well, if
So-
at third base you are.
Oh, third base
Because
you are
because
because you're going to run.
Yeah.
But the second it hits his glove, you're able to go,
Well-
regardless of what happens after the fact.
Well,
at that point,
clearly
so.
they didn't know that. The
So they
runners didn't
do.
know
They
that.
do a wide one here coming up. That's why I wanted to replay it here. So they show the couple close replays here, but wait for the wide one to come up here because watch all the. He actually mouths the words, "What the f just happened?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Not even the center fielder knew.
So after this here, they go to a wide one. But yeah, watch. But the guy on first and the guy on second, look,
Yeah.
They
started going back.
they don't. They're not. The shortstop guy, the guy from second to third was watching it. He could have seen it go off the wall. But the guy running to second had no idea. He's not watching that. He's watching it. Everybody
Did you
else.
see the batter down here? He's saying replay. The play's not even over with yet.
But
Wow.
but to me, that is just every Major League Baseballs are special for those types of moments. There's always something amazing that happens.
It is, and even now, I'll be the first to admit. Friday night, I was watching like some college football and things like that, and I clicked over, and clearly didn't expect to see the Mariners in this extra inning. I mean, it went 16
Yeah.
freaking innings, and I'm like. There were opportunities. I felt like I was watching maybe the Diamondbacks sometimes because they frustrate me when they get maybe a bases loaded with 1 out or second and third and no out, and they don't score. I mean, it was like big pitch after
every half
big-
inning.
Yeah, and that game wound up going a postseason record, 16 innings, and also you looked at, I think it was close to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like, are you freaking kidding me?
The old school baseball right there.
Yeah, and this is what amazes me about the Mariners. Okay, so that's a win or go home game 5. So now they have to jump on a bus, go to the airport, get on a plane, fly to Toronto.
Go through customs.
Yeah, dude, that's like a 6-hour flight for
Which
them.
they get different preferential treatment going through customs
they
than
do.
what I do.
They made them stand in line.
But it's still a process.
Well,
It's not like you land, go to a bus, and get to the hotel.
Well, look, I've been on these team charter flights. They get a bus ride onto the tarmac. They get on the plane. They don't even go through that.
Exactly.
So then when they fly in, they land on the tarmac, and so now they have these custom people that come out on
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
tarmac.
That's what I mean.
And so yeah.
But
so,
it's still a process.
It is.
It's not your normal land, get up, get on a bus,
Right.
and get out of there. There's still a process involved.
Right. No question about it. They do that all for security as well. And so to me,
By the way, good dropping how you've been on those plane flights. I like that little dropping.
I followed teams for 34 years. I better darn well be
Did
getting
you
some
sit
type of
next to
access.
Jerry Colangelo? I'm first class with JC.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to point out that did anybody else catch Boots dropping?
Hey, so in other words, I mean, 16 innings. They go through this long process, the flight and everything. They are supposed to be on this emotional low, not this emotional high.
Right.
And they play a tight game in game 1 and win that, and then blow out them Toronto the next game in Game 2, and now they're back home in Seattle now, up 2-0. You don't play a 16-inning, 5-hour marathon, jump on a plane, another 6 hours. I know who knows what time they even got to bed.
Right.
But for them to play the way they did, you know what? I know a week ago at this time, I said I like the Brewers and the Yankees. But you know what? Obviously the Yankees aren't there. But this Mariners team, they got some of that Diamondbacks 2023 team in them. I mean, you just don't expect it, and they just keep getting it done. Look, I hate the Dodgers. I'm not. I won't mince any words there. And look, gosh darn it, the Dodgers team looks so vulnerable throughout the year. That's the only thing that gave Diamondback fans like myself, any joy. Okay, well, they're not. At least the Dodgers aren't going to win it. And yet, all of a sudden, the pitching staff. Blake Snell was unbelievable last night.
I know.
And so, Tyler Glass now.
Well, their
Yakamoto.
bullpen's pitching well when they get in there.
This young kid, Roki?
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a gun. Do we really have to go through another
Well,
Dodgers
you
World
sit there
Series?
looking and you go, well, Shohei Ohtani, he's batting 138.
Dude,
Yeah.
isn't that
He's
something?
He's struggling.
138.
Yeah. And you don't even know it
No,
because everybody
it's
else
like,
is hitting well.
okay, well,
Yeah.
we got. Seriously, if you're starting pitcher, you go, okay, I got Ohtani, I got Betts, I got Freeman, I got Will Smith. It's like, when does it end?
Yeah, absolutely. And he faced the minimum 24 batters through 8 innings.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, I know you guys know this. The last time a pitcher even did that was the perfect game by Don Larson.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in the
I
postseason.
didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I did not look.
Coop,
I didn't see any of
Coop,
that stuff. last night.
We're a different decade than you are. You know what I'm saying?
What was it like watching Larson play? That's the question.
On the black and white.
hey, let me tell you something. These are little tidbits I picked up along the way. I mean, come on now.
But back when Coop had good eyes and the TVs were about this big.
I usually don't. I usually know all those stats and stuff, but I'm not. I just with baseball, with football happening right now, I'm
Yeah.
literally just watching the games, turning them off, and either falling asleep depending on what time they end. But that's you got the point on Seattle was I want Seattle to win this. I want Seattle to go to the World Series, and I think they have a chance to beat the Dodgers. I just thought Toronto with their division,
Right.
all of that. I was like, they had 3 days off. Everything was in
Right.
their favor.
Right.
So I reluctantly chose Toronto in this series, and partly because of that Friday night game and stuff. And I was like, this is just going to go Toronto's way, unfortunately. And now it's like, oh my, this is special for the Mariners moving forward, and this is going to be amazing.
Okay, let's recap here. I had the Brewers and Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of curious what Dale Hillistry.
he doesn't know. He doesn't
I
remember.
just tell Steve, and then he tells me.
I
If
can
I
look it up
win, he
here.
doesn't tell me most of the time.
Yeah,
I do a lot of win. All I do is win over here. Coop.
I have it in here somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Somewhere it's in here.
Yeah, they
I
always
do.
get lost.
I'll have to find it. I keep those
I
pages
took
in here.
Seattle
and the Dodgers, right?
and the Dodgers.
Absolutely, you did.
I thought the Dodgers were going to get knocked out in the playoffs.
Oh, I sure did.
And now Milwaukee can still do it, but the problem is then you got Yamamoto going. Milwaukee can be down 2-0 today after today's game, facing with Blake Snell's going to pitch that well. I have no doubt Yamamoto's going to pitch that well, so you have to stay in it, get to that bullpen as quickly as possible to move on. And it's an uphill battle for the Brewers. If the Brewers do it, it's going to be special. But how much is Major League Baseball dreading either Toronto, Seattle against Milwaukee?
Oh yeah,
World Series
There's no
coming up.
question.
Well, like the NBA last year. I mean, hey, it was a fun playoff season for the basketball fan.
Sure.
But Indiana
Right.
and Oklahoma City.
Those advertisers and TV execs.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's
they-
why
they're
I
not feeling
jokingly said it, I think, on Friday, where I said the Dodgers are going to the World Series. There's no way Major League Baseball and the umpires are going to allow the Dodgers to lose to Milwaukee and have a Seattle-Toronto-Milwaukee World Series coming up. I said it jokingly, and I half-heartedly meant it at the same
Well,
time.
I'll put it to you like this: the way they're playing, I wouldn't mind seeing the Mariners in the World Series.
I think they got a shot
but
to
you're
win,
not
too.
the typical fan that they're going for, Coop. You're going to watch it no matter what, and you ain't buying nothing from one of the advertisers.
That's a good point.
I
That's
know.
a good point.
I know a lot of Diamondbacks fans are kind of rooting for Seattle because Naylor and Suarez, of
Sure.
course, up there, and
Sure.
and things to that effect. So it's nice to kind of just keep an eye on it. And like I said, it's competitive and it's fun. Even that Brewers Dodgers game last night was competitive, but now the first game wasn't. Was it 10-1 or whatever?
Yeah.
These games have been fun. Keep you interested in a time when we're all focused on football, so you can't complain about that.
Yeah, and I'll admit to some bias here. I mean, after covering Pat Murphy at ASU for years, I mean, look, I'm rooting for him and the Brewers over there.
So I have a question on Pat Murphy.
Okay.
I've never met the man, but I know people that actually played baseball for him. 3 or 4 guys that played and they will. Like, if he called them right now and said, hey, my car's broken down. I'm in Milwaukee, my car's broken down. They'll be like, I want a plane to come get it for you, coach. Like, they love the guy to death. To me, he comes off as just this cantankerous old guy that he just mean all the time and just, we don't do that and all that stuff. What's the real Pat Murphy?
Well, I'll tell you what, and he comes off that way when the lights are on, when he's coaching and managing a game. At ASU, I mean, you had to love this. He attracted a lot of top talent. ASU was always highly recruited. They went to the postseason. But, I mean, they could have the number 1 overall seed in Omaha. And for some reason, I mean, they just couldn't finish the job. And so that was his biggest Achilles heel, is when the stage got to its absolute biggest and brightest. I remember 1998. They're playing USC in the final game for the College World Series. You know what the final score was? I still remember that. It was a football score against USC. USC 21, ASU 14.
Really?
Yeah.
21 runs.
21 runs. Dude, and so it was, I mean, whatever could go wrong, it always seems like it did.
In the big game.
Yeah. And so they could never win a College World Series. But, now if you watch these ASU teams now, you go back. Yeah, you go back and say, man, I long for those days.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we were winning conference titles.
Yeah.
We were winning the regionals. We won those sub-regionals. We're off in Omaha. Omaha was our destination.
What was the reason he stopped coaching here? Wasn't it disagreement with the AD and stuff like that?
There was some type of recruiting
That's what it was.
violation.
Yeah, okay.
And so he kind of went back and forth with them, and they kind of sent him out for that.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew there was some sort of ending there. But that's the thing. I mean, they gave up on it. They were like, and now look at them.
Yeah.
Well, how many programs have done that? I mean, we always famously talk about Nebraska, and I think it was Solich who kept going 9-3, 10-2, 9-3, 10-2 in Nebraska. This ain't good enough for Nebraska. Let's go 6-5.
Well, Penn State's doing that now, right?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Coop, did Sound Flower come to you and go, Coop, we want you out of here. Here's $30 million to go away.
Dude.
So I got an update on that. So $58 million is what it is, but there's a clause in his contract. We're talking about James Franklin, where he has to go get another job, no matter what it is, and they pay the difference. So this could go down. If it's less than $8 million a year that he makes, they pay the difference.
Yeah.
So they have a clause where he has to go. Like he has to go get another
But
broadcasting.
Does it have to be?
Football.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a head
It doesn't
coach.
have to be head coach.
Okay.
Could be, but anything less than $8 million. But he cannot sit at home and just collect his.
I'll be an analyst. Pay me $100,000.
That's what I would do. You want to pay your school back? You go get a job and say, hey, I'll do it. I'll do it for nothing.
Well, look, I know we both and all of us watching. We remember that Jerry Sandusky era. I mean, it look, and
well,
we
the
know
ending
NC,
to it.
Yeah, and we know how the NC2A. I mean, with the what they call it, the death penalty situation, but they kind of
he knows that well.
Yeah, at SMU. Yeah, they kind of came back and said, okay, we can't do this totally. So they gave back some little perks, if you will.
Right.
And so to see how James Franklin was able to bring Penn State back up to that status is remarkable. So you have to give him credit for that. But at the end of the day, how many times are you going to win 10, 11 games, but you can never seem to win the conference title because you can't either beat Ohio State or Michigan?
Well, it was worse than that. They would lose one game at home to a team they shouldn't lose to early in the season, which gave them no room to error. And that's the thing. We got a lot of coaches, but isn't it weird this year how many coaches are getting fired this early?
It is. But back to James Franklin. I mean, they were even in, didn't they when the college football playoffs, Notre Dame beat them.
Yeah, last
And
year. They made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, so
They're
I
in the
think,
playoff last year.
yeah, so I think a lot of fans their expectations even
Well,
went up. Even
I famously
Wow.
ran into some Penn State fans after they got eliminated in that playoffs, and I don't know them at all. I just ran into them, and they were just Penn State diehards. Like they traveled all the games, they live out here, traveled all the games, do all that. Just Penn State through and through. First words I said was, "What's your thoughts on Penn State?" Their response: James Franklin cannot pick a quarterback, and he's chosen the wrong one with Aller. Right, and they're instantly they're like, Aller needs to move on. They need somebody else there. And they gave me the impression that was going to be the downfall of James Franklin, was sticking with him as a quarterback, and it ends up being the case.
Well, here's the deal.
well,
I mean,
but-
look. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm a quarterback guru, but Aller is like looked at by the NFL circles as a first round draft pick.
I don't get that.
I don't know if Penn State has a first round draft pick behind Aller or not. But
Yeah. But I mean,
That's
but that's where you got to make your decisions as these. Look, losing the 3 games he's lost tells you he's lost the locker room and everything.
There's no
'Cause they
question.
didn't lose to Ohio State. They didn't lose to Illinois. They were losing to garbage UCLA and those teams.
Okay, so I'll grant you that, but let me tell you something. It's crystal blatantly clear to me that UCLA did not want to play for its coach.
Oh,
I mean that
the change when
not only did they win last week, but they came back and beat Michigan State. Who did they upset the week before? It was Penn
Penn
State.
State,
Yeah,
yeah.
not only they beat Penn State, they came and beat Michigan State in Lansing.
Rick Neuheisel's kid never
Yeah.
called offensive
Dude,
plays a day in his life, and
yeah.
now that offense looks like it's
I-
God's gift to
I'm
football.
I mean, I was watching another game and I saw the bottom line on that score. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So I clicked over. I mean, look, God, their coach for UCLA, he used to be their running back. I mean, it was Deshaun Foster.
Deshaun
right?
Foster was the one
Oh
they got
my
rid of. Yeah.
gosh.
Well, I mean, he had stop hiring coaches with no experience because they used to play for your program.
My
It,
goodness.
it obviously isn't going to work out, right? From that side, but so James Franklin's out. Oregon State fired their coach. 0-7 start. Not a surprise there. Yeah, they did that over the week quietly. Nobody wants to talk about Oregon State with their 0-7 start there. But I mean, what is leading to these coaches getting blown out? Like after 3 games, Virginia Tech and who
Well,
was the other one? I just forgot the other one.
Well, UCLA and Virginia Tech.
UCLA and
almost
Virginia
same
Tech.
weekend.
Well,
3 days, 3
well,
games into the season, boom out. What's leading to this?
And I'm telling you, what really worries me about all this coaching firing right now is that there's a coach at ASU named Dillingham that I expect to hear his name come in there. And look, I know that he's a Sun Devil through and through, but
Money
look,
talks.
brother, did you hear that?
But Coop,
Did you hear that?
But Coop.
Money talks.
Dale, I'm not trying to start any rumors,
Well,
I know,
but I'm just saying.
listen-
Kobe,
listen to me.
Kobe, get the KD on other jobs clip ready.
Yeah,
here.
but listen to me. They're going to lose this week to Texas Tech, and they're going to lose next week to Iowa State,
No, to Houston.
Houston, and then they'll lose the next week to Iowa State.
This is positive Dale here.
and so
folks.
guess what, Coop? You get all the Dillingham you want because he's going to come in at 6-5, 5-6. He's going to have less wins than U of A, and nobody is going to want to hire him. So you get your win.
Dale, let me tell you this. Sam Levitt will come back.
Yeah.
And when Sam Levitt comes back, look, he's truly a difference maker. I mean, look, I know we're waiting for this, but I mean, it was a tale of 2 backups. I mean, ASU last year without Sam Levitt went to Cincinnati with Jeff Sims as the starter. And I don't need to tell you what happened there. And when Sam Levitt got back in the lineup, they never lost another game until that 4th and 13 in the Peach Bowl against Texas in the college football playoff. I still can't get over. I'm telling you, history is repeating itself right now, Dale. Sam Levitt
I got another
will
snake
not
dinner
let-
says it's not going to happen. But let
Okay.
me tell you, hey, what's fascinating, and I don't even know if you caught on to this, because 2 of my buddies I was out with last night watching the football and baseball games, and they both brought it up. They go, Dan Pierre, ASU didn't even talk to him. They talked to him, didn't offer him, whatever. I said, hey, Devin Dampier and Dale Hellestrander, brothers from another mother.
I knew knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
But that wasn't the Dillingham. That wasn't the Dillingham era. At that point.
I knew that was coming. I mean, he won't get over
Every
that.
pass
He won't let it
completed,
go.
I said, "Do for hell
You know what? I'm going to. Yeah, I know. Dale's old enough now that he wouldn't even know. I'm just gonna, with technology, we can make a letter look old, Bruce. We're just gonna print out a letter.
I'm telling you.
I'm gonna pay ASU to go. We were going through some old archives, getting ready to put them in there. And look at it. We found this stamped envelope to Dale
It was never
Hellerstray.
mailed.
And the mailman must have messed up. And our mailman back then was Hellerstray.
Wow. I mean, Dale's really going to go there.
yeah.
He's going to go there.
Come
Oh,
on,
my
you,
God.
you were watching that game and going,
People, there's something wrong with that man right there.
this Devin Dampier kid, man, he looked good in the maroon and gold. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'll put it to you like this. I covered Dampier.
Yeah.
When he was in high school, he started off at Pinnacle before he transferred to Saguaro. The kid was electric. But let me tell you something. If you're asking me right now if I would rather have Sam Levitt as my quarterback or Devin Dampier, I'm going to take Sam Levitt. Yeah. I really am. And as electric as Dampier was running the ball, I don't think he's that same. He's not the same quarterback in terms of his ball accuracy throwing. If you go back and look at the stats, he had barely over 100 yards passing. I think he had more yards rushing than he did passing.
Yeah.
And so, look, to take nothing away from him, he's an electric player. But I like everything I see from Sam Levitt. He's not the runner, the elusive runner that Dampier is, but he runs with that reckless abandon. He can get yards with his feet, and he's much more electric throwing the ball. So as much as you want to talk about Dampier, and I love him because I covered him, he's a fantastic player. I hated to see that he transferred to Utah. I said right away when he did that, I said, oh, darn it.
See, here's the other thing, Coop.
That's because he got their AD from New Mexico, too.
The other thing that Dampier and I have in common is we both love basketball, but guess what? We play it in the off season, Coop. We don't play it during bye weeks of the football season.
Oh, this guy is too much, isn't
Well,
he? This guy, I mean, he really is too
I'm
much.
just saying.
I don't know. The thing that's weird about that story, so we talked about it. He's been told independent. I've been told independent. That there was some extracurricular things happening during the bye week. And that. Now ASU's backtracking it, opening up a little bit more and stuff like that. So I don't know if I believe it, but there's too many people that are in the know saying it that wouldn't say it if it wasn't the case. And that. But really quick, Kevin Dillingham, Kenny Dillingham comes out there and he was asked about other jobs yesterday because his name is up there with Penn State. Go on the social medias. They have Kenny Dillingham, Penn State.
Please.
Along with the Indiana guy and stuff
you're
like that.
kidding me.
No, I'm dead serious. It's the rumor mill, of course, and stuff to that
I
effect.
thought I'd just bringing up stuff.
No. Kenny Dillingham talked about it yesterday. This is his response.
No.
But as your name pops up in coaching searches elsewhere, do you have conversations internally with the players or anything like that about that?
No, I don't even know. I thought I was talking about being fired. I didn't know I was talking about that. Like, my brain doesn't process that. No.
I mean, good response. But I also say this: Kenny Dillingham, unless he wanted to go to Penn State, like Matt Rule today.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Matt Rule has told his agent pursue Penn State. I can tell you that right now because they know it. And Matt Rule is going to be involved. Guys like Kenny Dillingham, unless they want to go there, their agent might be fielding that phone call, but they don't know about it in the middle of the season, right?
Time out. Didn't Franklin lose it? Was it Sunday or Monday he lost his job?
Sunday, I think.
Was it Sunday?
But either way, Sunday or Monday.
Okay.
One or
Well,
another.
because I mean that was really quick for the media to be in there asking him Dillingham that question.
I could see Franklin. If Franklin got fired before the season, I could see Kenny's name coming up.
I mean that was
Not
quick.
now.
Well, no, but when anybody gets fired, UCLA gets fired, and the ex-U of A coach at Washington, Fish, he instantly was, watch out for Jed Fish going to UCLA. So the rumor, people know who the hot coaches are. People know who's going to be interested. the guy to watch for Penn State is that Indiana cat, man.
Yeah,
because
Cignetti.
He's from the Big Ten. Obviously, wins big games. Can do a lot. Imagine what he could do with money behind him, because he does not have money behind him.
Hey,
in
let me
Indiana.
tell you something. I thought he was talking a lot of trash and just
He
biting
does.
off a little bit more than he
Very
could chew.
cocky.
But I gotta give him credit, man. They went into Eugene,
Yeah.
and I mean,
I didn't think they had a chance.
I didn't either.
He
I
comes from
mean-
the Saban coaching tree, no less. I
Is that
didn't.
right?
I didn't
I
know
didn't-
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Yeah, he was part of those staffs there down there at Alabama.
No, he's
and
my
them up.
number one target. But then again, if you're him and you got things rolling to Indiana, you know they're going to give you whatever they got.
Yeah, but you know the name of the game is NIL. Penn State. Penn State can back it up with players. Indiana.
You know, I walked in here. The most stunning thing I'd heard was Steve McCullum's take on the umpire.
Yeah.
But sitting here listening, I can't believe that Dillingham was already asked that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday's press
Dang.
conference. Yeah. But I mean, it came out instantly. The second Franklin was fired, I saw somebody say Cignetti, Dillingham. Those two like instantly on there. Look, anytime a big program opens up, let's face it, Dillingham's name's going to be attached to it, and that's just the way
That
it
was
is as an
quick,
Arizona
though.
State fan.
That
Yeah, from that side of things. Well, here's a couple other things. Let's just stay on this as we'll do one more and then we'll wrap up here. Katie on Levitt. Here's Kenny. He said a lot about Levitt yesterday, but this is a little clip here on what he said about Sam Levitt in this condition.
Status quo. I mean, we're going to find out more Tuesday, Wednesday. I know people think like there's no gamesmanship here. This is just purely being honest. And sometimes when you're honest, people create fake things because sometimes honesty is just rare. So I think the fact that we're being honest with this situation is making people uncomfortable. The reality is he's day-to-day. We're going to find out when we move him around on Tuesday and Wednesday's practice if he's good enough to play on Saturday. So I'll have more of an update come, mid this week.
Now, I hate when coaches, really quick, I hate when coaches say, oh, we're just being honest with you. Well, they weren't being honest with us because he was probable on Wednesday, all through Thursday night at 7 p.m., all of a sudden he's doubtful. That's not honesty, because if he's that hurt Thursday night, he was that hurt Wednesday, he was that hurt Tuesday. They're not being honest with us.
they say the injury stems back to the Baylor game.
Yeah, and
I look, I've watched a couple of games since then, and it was stunning and shocking to me to find out that
if they would have told me it was a shoulder, I'd be like, okay. But to come out in a walking boot after watching him do what he did against TCU with my own eyes in that stadium, you can't tell me. Yesterday he went on to say that Sims took all the practice reps during the bye week, and then they needed to make a decision, so Sam took the practice reps Tuesday and Wednesday. This week they're going to kind of do it both together. Going into it. So, I mean, I get it. They were honest as of Thursday afternoon, but you can't say you're honest leading up to that. You just can't. And that's the problem I have with it, is you don't see – he says it's honesty. I say it's lunacy. You lead to these conspiracy theories and stuff like that with the way they did it. That's not being honest. If they were honest about it, there'd be no conspiracy theory.
Did the basket go in is all I want to know when he turned his ankle.
I'll tell you, the rumor of the bye week makes more sense based on what we saw with our own eyes.
I said it on Friday. I said there's just no – I even went back on Saturday and was watching TCU fourth quarter.
was amazing, wasn't it?
And he was running. He was juking guys, spinning.
Yeah,
He was the throw was perfect. And I'm like, before he showed up at Utah with a walking boot, and I'm like, that kid does not have an injury in that game bad enough.
Even in the
that he can't play
even
on
in the
Thursday.
Baylor game that we watched as well. I mean, we didn't see anything that
Not at all. And that's why you get the conspiracy theories. And what bothers me here is the gaslight. Oh, we're just being honest. Well, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not being honest, because if you're honest, we would have heard about the injury on Tuesday or Wednesday, not Thursday when it comes up. And if it would have been a shoulder injury, I actually would be on their side on this. When he came out the walking boot, my brain went, does not compute to what you're telling us and what we saw.
And this is where you go back. Look, what's that old saying? Boys will be boys. I mean, look, you get involved in some other things outside of football and things.
You're gonna get on
happen.
Dale's
And
bad
then-
side here.
And then, I know. Hey,
Look at the look.
hey, look. Let me tell you something. I know it's not the same because I was in high school when this happened to me. But me and some buddies, we were goofing around. There was a guy, and I might be dating myself here. There's a guy named Jack Tatum who played with the Oakland
Raiders.
Yeah, he had this reputation for being really a hard hitter. So anytime you suffered a hard hit, you say we would say, oh, you got Tatumed. Almost like to say you got Moss nowadays.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we were goofing around with a buddy of mine, and I got Tatum by him. We were wrestling. And you know what? I kind of separated my shoulder, and my basket. I was so afraid. I was afraid of my junior. This was in junior high. I was afraid of my junior high school coach. I mean, if I was walking down a hallway and I saw him walking in the opposite direction my way, I would turn around and walk the other way. I mean, he just scared me the way he talked. But anyway, I was scared as daylights to tell him that I couldn't raise my right shoulder. And
But Coop.
but
you're
it's the same
talking-
thing. Your boys, being
No.
boys, got off track. Yeah,
No.
I mean, look, Sam Levitt and whoever. I mean,
No.
yes, Dale, that
No,
happens. That
you're
stuff
talking
happens.
about you being 12 years old, snotty little kid playing junior high ball. You're talking about the starting quarterback for a Division I football program that's got millions of dollars of NIL money. You wait to play basketball till January.
Dale-
I promise you.
Dale, boys will
No.
be boys.
I love basketball more than just about anybody. I promise you I like it more than this dude. And I never played basketball during the football season. Ever.
I mean, to Bruce's defense, there's a reason they put it in contracts of professionals that you're
Professionals.
not
You're
allowed to do it.
Well, he
because
is a
you don't wanna do it.
professional. He's making money,
Coop. I don't disagree. I don't disagree from that side, but,
Hey, but-
it's infuriating, and for Kenny Dillingham to continue to we're just being honest, but you weren't honest in the process. That's what bothers. There was no sign of an ankle injury anywhere in this process leading up to Saturday night when he walked out in a walking boot. Now, that's not being honest. I'm not saying they have to say what it is, but that's not being honest.
He's laying on that basketball coach going, damn. I hope it's not serious.
Well, the players he was playing with were probably like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you get in. You know how you would let's say maybe be playing pool or ping pong or something. Things get competitive. I mean, when you start talking a little game, talk about what you did in high school. Okay, I can see where you want to show a little something, and maybe something happens that shouldn't have. But
Okay.
I take it back to boys being boys.
Well, you're comparing him to you in
I'm not.
middle school.
I'm not.
In
I'm
middle
not. I'm
school.
not at all. All I'm doing is trying to use the reference of boys being boys.
Well, your hearts can rest easy because when ASU's 4-5, I promise you his name will not be mentioned about Penn State.
Come on back, folks.
Okay.
Second hour main event coming up next.
He'll be here.
And we're back here, second hour main event. I remember Leonard Davis. What did he do? I remember Jeff Kent with the Giants.
Well, yeah,
hurt himself on his motorcycle and then came back and said he was washing his truck.
We were talking about some things off camera here, and I brought up the name Big Leonard Davis because I do understand how professional players have certain clauses put in their contract. And so Big Leonard Davis, big offensive lineman, he was a second overall pick in the draft that year behind Michael Vick.
Oh.
And so played at the University of Texas, but he did a lot of off-roading. And so he would talk about that. And so it was in his clause that he could not do this, at all during any period of time. They only gave him a stretch of time during the offseason to do it. So me and my cameras, we wanted to do a story with it. And I couldn't believe this dude in these big, huge trucks, but that he did what he did off-road. I'm like,
right.
Dude, this doesn't look safe at all. So I really, really get why they put those things in professional contracts. But come on, Dale, you do make a good point, though, that NIL might make him a pro, right? It might make Sam
That's
Levitt
the
a pro
problem.
now.
You're going to have to start having those clauses.
You got
and
the
stuff
whole
to that.
offseason to play basketball.
Here is, since we're talking, we'll just stick with ASU, of course. Bruce Cooper joins us on Tuesdays here as well. So it's always a fun time there. I just love watching Dale's blood boil.
Not only do I have one knucklehead here now I got two knuckleheads.
Here's Kenny Dillingham talking about accountability within his program. Basically, before we play it, they were asking him. He said he got out-coached at Utah last week, so he kind of goes into that here with accountability.
So to me in college football, the word out-coached, every time we lose, we get out-coached. Because we don't have a GM, right? So me personally, every loss that we have, I'm responsible for every single person in this organization. So it doesn't matter if we miss a tackle or if there's a bad scheme or if they get us schematically. It's out-coached. Like, that's how I view it, is the extreme ownership of I have brought in every single person into this organization. So if we miss a tackle or if we don't make a play or if we have a bad scheme or something like that, that all falls on me. So maybe out-coached isn't always the perfect term, but at the end of the day, everything always falls on me. So when we have failures or we don't hit an expectation for a multitude of reasons, it's my fault. That's what I mean by out-coached, is there's nowhere else who else do I look at? Everybody's here because of me, right? Which means everything falls on me, and it should. Like, every bad thing ever said about this program should fall directly on me, not our players, because I brought them here. That's our job to put them in the best position to succeed. And that 100% is on me. So that's what I mean by when I say that.
Well, look, when it's 4th and 13 in the Peach Bowl, that is being out-coached because that's a bad scheme. That play.
Mississippi State, same situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not showing up in the first half of a ball game and being down 14-0
but
multiple times.
But I'm not going to buy his explanation because there are players, too, that need to be accountable, and sometimes players make boneheaded, stupid plays and decisions. But look, I like him trying to fall on the sword trying to clean it up. But no, I can't.
Well, we played CJ Fife yesterday saying we just got to go back to what we know works and things to that effect. And Dale kind of had a conniption on that as well because, it's obviously not working. So you can't go back and do the same thing over and over and over again. And, not that they might be tweaking it a little bit, and we'll talk about that with the Cardinals coming up here. But it's almost like they're so young with Aurora, right, as the offensive coordinator. It's kind of the same situation of the Cardinals. They're so young. I don't know if they know how to fix what's happening to them right now.
Well, look, they plain and simple. They just got out physicaled against Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just look. It didn't matter who ran the ball. I mean, it wasn't like Utah passed ASU silly. They ran the ball, and that's smash mouth. Now, a year ago, ASU out physical them because they had some dude named Scam Cataboo. I mean, Cam
Scatterby.
Yeah, Cam Scatterby.
I like that.
He kicked their behind.
Yeah.
he wore them down. I mean, he hit him so many body punches there in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. Now he's got those 50-plus yard TD runs.
Now let me
Hey.
tell you the God's honest truth. You guys can dance all around this and whatever. Bottom line is now there's 2 road games that ASU has not showed up ready to play. That is on the leaders of the football team
Sure.
and
Good
the
point.
coaching staff. And I'm not so sure this past Saturday it was 38 degrees and there's a little bit of rain that they didn't want to be out there.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I complained
Well,
about.
let me tell you something. They got out coached and outplayed in the first half in Starkville against
Yeah.
Mississippi
Yes.
State. But I give them all the credit in the world in the second half because they outplayed them. That game was there for them to win. And I think that when you talk about coaching, being out coached, well, they have a chance. It's 4th and goal. You know, you got to from the 1 yard line. I mean, dude, you just go ahead and punch that puppy in.
Well, let me tell you, Coop, though, here's the thing. The other comparison I'm going to draw between the 2 local teams that I had great high hopes for. There's similarities to both programs. I was excited about the kind of kids ASU had, the kind of players the Cardinals did, the guys who love football, physical, want to play the game, love the game of football. And then I started watching both their offensive lines over the last couple of weeks. Man, ASU's offensive line.
It's pretty much the same as last
But
year, Dale.
whatever's
the
happened
same.
to him, whatever's happened to him, Coop, I tell you what, it is. I'm not going to go too far. It's disheartening to watch this ASU offensive line, and then I go to the Cardinals, and it's basically the same guys now that you got Hernandez back, but they're performing about 50% of what they were last year, and I don't know what's I know with the Cardinals, there's been a new offensive line coach because my boy Clayton Adams is in Dallas scoring 40 points a game. But at ASU, I don't think there's any changes. So I don't know what's happened there. But if your offensive lines
One change.
do not,
Just one
Cam
play.
Scatterbu.
Well,
And he was the heart of that team. And I mentioned it yesterday on the Cardinals defense. They got rid of Kazir White. They got rid of Dennis Gardak. They got rid of the less talented guys with the heart. You got Cam Scatterbu moves on the ASU side. You've lost the heart that you had last year. And it's obvious that it's
but
happening.
in ASU's case, that they can't help that. That's an eligibility issue.
Well,
that
no, I
happens
get that.
All, that
I
happens
get
all
that.
the time.
But then at the same time, this coaching staff, whether they were reading their own headlines about, I'm going to get a big job coming up and blah, 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 or whatever happened, this coaching staff last year was not coming in unprepared. They came in flat out unprepared for Utah. I'm to the point where I think they punted on the Utah game. Last Thursday, the ASU went, we're not going to win this game on Saturday night, so let's pull Sam Levitt out. Let's just go out there. Let's just finish what we can do. Now you've lost
and
Ben
wait for
Coleman,
Texas Tech.
and then let's regroup for Texas Tech. I just
gee,
felt
I don't know,
it just
Steve.
feels that way, Bruce. It just feels like they went into that game knowing they were going to lose and gave up before it even started. Is what happened in that game on Saturday night. Now you've lost Ben Coleman, your graduate center, who's talking to Dale's point. You're not going to get better by losing him.
No.
You know, and then the other guys, the other defense, Alfred's out for a while and stuff like that. It's just the heart that we saw last year seems to be missing. Don't forget though, Baylor, they were down huge in the first quarter. TCU, they were down 17 in the first quarter. This
That's a very good
team
point.
comes in unprepared to play,
You know what?
and they don't wake up until the second half. You're able to come back against Baylor and TCU. You're able to come back against Mississippi State and then just lose it at the end. You cannot do that with Utah. You will not be able to do that with Texas Tech. You will not be able to do that at Iowa State. Your final 3 hard games coming up. Houston's going to be good, but you can probably come back on Utah. This team is unprepared. I'm saying it's Houston. This team is unprepared to start games, and that falls strictly on the coach.
Hey.
Hard to argue that.
Hey. They got 4 tough games remaining. Don't forget about my Wildcats
Arizona.
down there in Tucson, Coop. I thought I had one up on you.
How about Blair Bachmeyer? Yeah. Bear Bachmeyer. I gotta love the kid.
So NIL is a big topic this week because Texas Tech has reportedly spent $28 million in bringing kids into that program. Who's coming up this week? Kenny Dillingham was asked about the ASU NIL situation. Also, and pay attention to this because, again, when his name's brought up with schools with Penn State, et cetera, I'm not saying he's taking those jobs, but I'm saying listen to this NIL talk because this is part of a coaching decision nowadays as well. Here's Kenny Dillingham on the NIL situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think All In is constantly changing. I think All In is saying wherever, the top end is, we're gonna get there. I think so. Whatever it takes, I guess, is All In, and that number's changing, and that's what All In is constantly changing. It's like the person in seat 1 goes all in, and the other person's like, I like my hand too. I'm all in. Another $100 in there. Third person's like, you know what? I like my hand too. Or $100 in there. Like, I'm all in. All in's changing. So I think in college football right now, all in is constantly changing. So where are we from that? It's a moving target, and you got to be willing to adapt and move and do what's necessary to hit all in. And them as a program, they're definitely all in, from their facilities to Coach McGuire, his staff, the team they've put together. They've done a phenomenal job, and their program's all in, and you can see the results. And like I said, I'm excited. This should be a fun game, fun environment, and I'm ready to rock.
Now look, I do expect Sam Levitt to play, and I expect, because when he plays, this ASU team is a different team, and they're a different team in the second half. But I'm just, to Steve's point, I got to believe that they're going to turn the corner and find that magical.
But then you got
flip
the red zone issues that continue in the
right,
second half too.
They had. Again, that goes back to Cam Scatterboo. But I will say this.
Our savior Cam.
I also became a fan of Mike Norvell when he was here under Todd Graham, and the way things are happening in FSU,
he's going to be available.
I wouldn't be surprised he's available there. And knowing that Dillingham was a OC there, I mean, I'm telling you, dudes, I hate to say it, but I'm really starting to worry when I see other big name programs lose out, because I look around at some of the availability. I'm really shocked that they threw Dillingham that question.
How could
at
you
him
be
yesterday.
shocked though?
Yeah, because it was too fast. It was too quick.
It's
you don't
2025.
It wasn't even 24 hours.
It's not the old days where news takes 3 weeks to come across.
That's Dillingham's agent saying, "Hey, can you skirt Dillingham's name in there?"
It's people in the national media who goes, Penn State's coach just got fired. These are the big name coach. Notice how they're naming Dillingham and Cignetti and those guys. It's because they're on the top of their game right now, and that's what they're looking at. The interesting thing about that Kenny Dillingham conversation there, why have they stopped talking about activating the Valley?
Because they got to win a game to activate the Valley.
Wasn't that the whole point of it, though, was to get people behind the program? Now you need it more than ever to get people to support this program, because people are breaking ankles and knees, and the orthopedic doctors are breaking it in with people jumping off this bandwagon right now.
Well, no, let me tell you something. Before they went to Utah, they played TCU, and they had a record turnout in student body.
On a Friday night.
Yeah. And so
those games are free for them.
That told me that the Valley is activated, but
the students are activated.
Well, look, the game was a sellout from what I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of empty seats, but they considered it a sellout. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't there, so I can't.
I'll send you the picture. I'm sure I have one of what it was at. It's just interesting. I've noticed that the conversation changing here with the program, or they're getting away from. It's fun to say that when you're growing up and you're getting the growth side, but now it's sustain mode, right? And how can you sustain it up there? I'm not disappointed. I had ASU losing 3 games this year, 2 to 3 games this year, and I thought 2 of them would be in the Big 12 with their schedule on the road this year. I thought it would be tough, and then of course Texas Tech. So I had them. Utah, Iowa State, and then Texas Tech, I thought would be the 3 hardest games in that stretch that was coming up. So I'm not disappointed. I'm disappointed that they start the game slow. I'm disappointed. Like, that's not the team we were sold a Kenny Dillingham team was. The red zone offense, you're right, Cam Scatterwood had a lot. But you got running backs back there that can be physical. And the play calling in the red zone is atrocious out there on top of it. Takes them a half to wake up. Those are the things I'm disappointed in. That's not the Kenny Dillingham teams we were sold on. And then he goes on to 98.7 on Friday and goes, oh, that's ChatGPT how to solve those problems. And you know what? And that's a funny little comment. But you know what that tells me? are these guys too young to know how to get out of these types of situations?
Well, I don't really buy that just because there are a lot of other teams that are playing 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys.
No, I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the coaching staff.
Oh,
you know
the
what
coaching staff.
UCLA
I
did?
see, I
UCLA
see,
needs
I
help.
see, I
They
see.
went and hired Mazzoni.
Yeah.
He was at Saguaro, and they said, hey, come be an analyst for us a couple
Okay,
days a week.
yeah, that's a good point.
I'm talking about the coaching staff,
good
right?
point.
You continue to have them come in and be unprepared. Something's happening during the week where they're not being prepared. They're obviously not fixing it. So they either don't know how to fix it, there's something else going on in there. Bring in an outside voice. I talk about this with Petzing on the Cardinals side of things. They're young. You don't know what you don't know. Bring an experienced guy in here to see if you can solve it. Are they doing that? Are they trying any changes? It's just right back to the same drawing board. And we've seen this drawing board now for, 6 games, 5 games?
Well, see, I'm sure the critics will respond to that and say they were even younger a year ago. And they went 11-2.
Yeah, and they
during the
came out and
regular
fired it up in the beginning of games. I don't remember any games last year where they were down 17-0.
season. Right. But so you got to ask yourself that go back to that. Then is it really a youth not knowing what you don't know?
No, it's not that they don't know how to do it. It's that when things go sideways. I look at this in my corporate world. When I was a young little snotty-nosed guy managing, $30 million business and all that stuff, I got into situations where I was like, I don't even know how. Like, if I fire somebody, is that going to solve it? If I bring somebody in, is that going to solve? I had no idea. Nowadays, that happens to me, and I'm like, oh, we'll do this and this and this and this, and then you try to get out of it, right? Like you just know, you can change stuff. A fresh set of eyes can go, hey, this is what you're doing wrong in the red zone. You're showing these things. You're running the same plays over and over again. That's what I mean by the coaching staff. You're in a slump right now. You have the same thing happening, and they're probably trying to fix it, and they're like throwing stuff at the wall. Sometimes you just need somebody else that has the experience, an old seasoned pro, come in and go
like Dale Hellestrand.
Well, yeah, and go. This is I mean, you bring in somebody on the offensive line, like they probably know guys' heads are in the wrong spot, feet are wrong. But they obviously aren't able to fix it. So you get somebody that goes, you know what? I've been around football for 40 years, and I've seen this problem 800 times in my life. This is how we fixed it at times. Let's try this. And the coaching staff goes, oh, we didn't think of that. That's a good point. That's what I mean by the young, unexperienced side of it. Okay. You don't always know how to fix the problems because you haven't experienced it before. Now, they'll be better if they do fix it and get on the other side. And it's just week after week with the same problems is what's driving me nuts.
Well, let's hear what Dale has to say on this. Let's see if he can count.
I'm just sitting here listening in my mind as you two blab on about whatever you're blabbing on about. But number one, I always go back to the Valley can't have nice things. And then I go back to why do both our football teams have to suck buttermilk? Why is that? Why last year Arizona State went on their big run and all that, and the Cardinals were competitive, and now they both suck. Why? How come?
Well, Dale, let me ask you this: why is it that Indiana all of a sudden is getting all the fruits? I mean, their basketball team, the Pacers, are in the finals.
Yes.
This football team, both the Colts and the Hoosiers are playing well above expectations. Now, why is that? I mean, why is karma really real?
And I sit there and look at it because, come on, the Indiana Hoosiers, seriously, in football? They're top 5 now?
Top 3.
The
3. Yeah.
They're number 3 overall? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but then you got places like Philly who can't win anything, and they spend the money to win it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, but I think you can look. Number one, rest easy. You're sold. Kenny will be here next year, I promise. But my question to you is, what are the Cardinals going to do?
Well, before we get to that, I just wanted to play this because Kenny talked about expectations and the level that they're at. Remember the beginning of the season on the expectation talk? And he was like, we got to keep our expectations where they are. They're high, whatever. Just really quick. Kenny on, and this goes to Jonathan Gannon as well. Kenny on explanations.
For us as a football team, the next man up has to step up and they have to play well because the reality is nobody cares. It's not a world where people care, right? The reality is you're playing football at Arizona State now. There's expectations at Arizona State that used to not be here. That is great. Like, I would much rather people be pissed off at being 4-2 than people be singing and parading around the city. Like, this is a great expectation that we're creating. With that becomes handling expectations, because it's nearly impossible to consistently reach expectations. It's not like it's very, very difficult to every year hit the expectation set, because they should be set so high if you set it correctly. So for us, is how do you handle it when you don't hit the expectations? And I think regardless of who's playing, nobody cares. The goal is to go play our best football. It doesn't matter what the expectations are. How do we play our best football? We didn't do that last week. We got to go do that this week.
Okay.
They haven't done that multiple times this year.
Okay, but so all. Hey, and I love to hear Kenny talk. And
Devil's Digest, by the way, is where I ripped that from.
He's a good public speaker. He gets you fired up a little bit. But instead of continuing to talk about expectations and go out and do this, give me some solutions. What are you going to try and do?
That's my point.
How are you going to address your slow starts?
That's my point.
How are you going to address your running game? How are you going to address these certain things that's going? Talk about all these big grand things. Talk about the little things that lead to the grand things. And I still don't know if they have a plan to try and take care of those little things to win football games.
He said it better than I said it, but that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Look. I look at Alabama, where Kalen DeBoer stepped in to try and fill the enormous shoes of Nick Saban.
Yeah.
It doesn't go well for him in year one. In week one, it doesn't go well. And so, what have we seen since? We've seen a coaching staff adapt and live up to these expectations. I mean, with Ty Simpson now, I'm every week I watch now. Ty Simpson gets better and better and better at that quarterback position, and it's like they're meeting those expectations. Kenny Dillingham wants to talk about the expectations now that they've elevated and raised at ASU.
Might be too high.
Well,
And that's fine if they are, but you're not even coming close to hitting them.
Right.
And you've regressed, is my argument. You're regressing.
That's where I am with it, is that the regression part.
Yeah, I expected them to lose 3 games, and I am disappointed at 4-2 because of the way they played, the way they've come out, the way they've started games.
Yeah.
That should not be what we're watching. Go out and lose 3-4 games in a year, but you fought from the opening whistle to the end, and they're just simply not doing it. And that's to Dale's point, and which is kind of my point. You don't hear them how they're changing it and trying to fix it. Now, they're not going to come out and be like, we're doing this, we're doing that. I understand that. But it's just always that constant overarching talk. Well, what are you doing in practice this week to fix your offensive line issues? What are you doing in this types of this stuff? And that's what you're not hearing. And that's where my disappointment comes. And it's the same thing with the Cardinals as we transition over to that. It's just constantly, we got to go back to the book. I have faith in, wait till you hear this Jonathan Gannon clip. They have faith in their system. Well, your system's not working right now.
How are you, first of all, and to Steve's point earlier, have you been able to address the problem?
Yes.
Problems. Both programs. Are you able to sit down with your coaching staff, watching film, and say, these are the 3 areas that are keeping us back?
Yeah.
Have you been able to do that?
Can you solve problems, though, in the middle of the season looking at them?
You should be able to.
Can you? Okay.
You should be able to a certain extent.
I think they did that last year.
You saw a different ASU team towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
But have they been able to identify those? And because when you continue to see the same thing happen over and over again, and that's the slow start against a couple lesser teams, you're able to overcome it. And against a couple teams that were a little bit better, you weren't able to overcome that. Have you been able to address why? At least I'm watching Kenny Dillingham talk. At least Texas Tech's coming here, so we don't have to worry about upset tummies and things like that, because he was worried about that going to Mississippi State as players, not getting the food that they wanted because they get upset tummies and
their hotel beds are a little bumpier than they used to.
They still should have won that game at Mississippi State.
No doubt.
They're up 20-17.
Yeah.
About 30 seconds left to go in the game.
But
Come
they
on,
were
man.
down 17.
They were down 17,
nothing,
and they completely
sucked.
flipped the script and dominated. I mean, and again, I still remember 4th and 1. I would have went for it, and if I didn't get it, they
At
would
the
have
end
to go
zone.
99 yards.
Yeah. It's just amazing. And then when we get into it here, when we come back, let's get into the Cardinals. And it's amazing how these two teams, in my eyes, are parallel themselves. And that's where my frustration with this. Normally, the Cardinals suck and ASU sucks. We could talk about different reasons why they're not playing well, right? And now we're talking about the exact same things. And coaching staffs are handling it the same, but also different. We'll talk about that.
And they're costing me money.
It's Bruce Cooper. Come up next, folks. Come on back.
He's like, these commercial breaks have got.
I know.
I've got
I'm sorry,
stuff
Dale.
to say.
Dale's
I
got
know.
Dale's got stories, and it gets cut off there. We'll have
Yeah.
to expand those back out for you there, Dale. I apologize, but tell us about the guy you hated.
Oh no! Well, we're
Just
talking about in the break. We're talking about Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker
Yeah.
not becoming besties, and they were not besties on the court when they were
Right.
opponents. But I was just telling you real quick, this guy named Ray Childress, he ended up being like third pick in the draft.
I
Went
do
to the
remember.
Houston Oilers. We played against each other for 3 years, so we hit each other. Well, we actually talked about it. I think probably 75 times a game times 3, 200 and something times. We butted heads. And he's really the only guy that I ever played dirty against, or played dirty one play. The bottom of a pile, my hand somehow got stuck in his face mask. I don't
Somehow.
know how. And I decided, I looked down, I saw it was him, and I literally tried to crank his neck off. And he jumped out of the pile with his face mask facing this way, swinging at me. He couldn't see me. 15-yard penalty, but we just didn't like each other. And later on in his career, he came to Dallas. And we both, talked to each other like, you're not such a bad guy after all. You're like, hey, we're on the same team. You're pretty cool. And I see that with Dylan and Devin. The double Ds are getting together.
But I wonder in terms of the Suns. We'll talk more Suns next week. Obviously, season opens up. But the interesting thing about that is, how's Dylan Brooks going to fit into this team with Devin Booker there? There could be some turmoil coming up with those two guys. It's going to be interesting to watch.
I disagree.
Really?
I really do. I mean, Dylan is going to bring that dog. He's going to bring someone who is a vocal leader. Kind of reminds me of a Jay Crowder effect. And so I think he'll be well received. It'll go well.
Now, will this new coach still talk to him throughout the season, or is he going to pull money?
Who does he ignore first? And how soon?
And like, I'll be the first to tell you that I don't know a darn thing about Jordan Ott, not one single thing. And so,
And playing in China doesn't give us a look into
no.
it either.
But I will say this: that he has a more athletic, energetic team or roster than what we saw that Frank Vogel and Mike Budenholzer rolled out on the court. I will say that much.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm looking for it. I think they're only going to win 30, 40 games, but they're going to be fun to watch. So that's a
That's better to win in
consolation.
the low 30s than being
Being
not
miserable,
fun to watch.
being miserable, right? Jonathan Gannon spoke yesterday. First of all, the Cardinals kept Callahan employed for an extra week by letting the Titans come back and win him. I mean, just The Cardinals are just good people, man. They just were like,
They're
we're going to lose to the
givers.
Titans, give you another week of coaching the Titans before you get fired. So, I mean, it's not all bad for the Cardinals. They're thinking of other people.
Not Christmas yet, Steve.
But in all seriousness,
Well,
they go to
Callahan at least has something now, thanks to the Cardinals, that he can add to his man cave now, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Game ball.
So
Yeah.
it's positive.
And then here's the weird thing about that. They of course let him go. Titans did.
Yeah.
Then his dad, Bill Callahan, offensive line coach, was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to coach here either. I'm out too," and leaves the Titans as well. From that perspective, so they didn't just lose their head coach; they lost their offensive line coach as well. So that'll be interesting to see if there's now they're terrible, but what kind of regression you see the rest of the year. But don't be surprised, and this is my argument. Don't be surprised if somebody picks up Bill Callahan to coach their offensive line at some point this year.
Like the Arizona Cardinals.
It would be nice if the Cardinals would do it. Is all I'm going to say. Bring in some experience, somebody, even if it's just a consultation role. Bring somebody in that can give you a fresh perspective to the issues that you have out there. But they didn't have the issues they had a lot of times earlier this season. Last week with Jacoby Brissett starting that game, Coop.
Well, let me tell you this. I have really, been one of Kyler Murray's greatest supporters
Okay.
because I've sat here for 34 years. I've watched a lot of poor quarterback play. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald, I don't know how he did what he did with some of the quarterbacks he had.
Max Hall,
But-
the other kid, that tall kid.
Well, I'm not going to name.
Stanton.
I'm not.
Kevin Kolb.
I'll name Kevin.
Kevin Kolb.
I'm
is
not.
a-
name it.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
You go all the
name
way
any-
back to Dave Brown
I'm
and
not
Tom
gonna-
Tupa. And
I'm not gonna name any names. I'm not gonna name any name. But in the Cardinals, 34 years. I mean, they came here with a true franchise quarterback in Neil Lomax. Unfortunately, he had one of those Dale Hellestrade type injuries with the hip, and he was just never the same.
Right.
No matter what they've done in the draft, from the Tim Rosenbaum.
That's what I was just going to say, Rosenbaum.
Yeah. They've had first round drafted quarterbacks. No matter what they've done, they've never worked out. Their two best quarterbacks since they came here in '88 were seasoned over the age of 30 quarterbacks in Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer.
Yeah, well, that always didn't work out, though. They brought Boomer here at one point, and he was
Well, I'm just telling you the two
yeah,
best.
no, that's
the two
what I'm
best.
saying. I'm just saying that hasn't always worked out.
Right.
for them. Yeah.
But those have been their two best quarterbacks to date. I mean, you could talk about them again, the Matt Leinerts and things like that. The draft choice didn't work. Kyler Murray was I think they've had 3 or 4 first-round drafted quarterbacks this year since they came here. He is the best of that lot. I mean, I've watched him.
That's like saying you're the tallest midget, though.
No.
Bruce. You're still short, man.
When I watch Cardinals play, I always feel like they at least have a chance just based on
Yes.
Murray's abilities.
I agree with you.
Now,
If you allow him to do it.
Right. Now, I've watched some of his backups. Holt McCoy, Brett Hundley, Joshua Dobbs, Clayton Tune. None of them really did anything to me to make me say, oh, we should make a change.
Yes.
Now, I do understand that Brissett is 32 years old. He is who he is. He's a journeyman quarterback. He's had like over 50 starts in this league. He's had a losing record. So he put together a game on Sunday that for the first time I'm saying, wow, Kyler doesn't do this. And what it was is he stood in the pocket. Pressure coming at his face. He didn't bail. He didn't bolt. He stood there.
And he threw it across the middle of the field.
And so now, as the receivers are reaching the top of their routes, he's able to see that, stand in there, and deliver. That's something for the first time in Kyler's tenure with Arizona. I'm saying he doesn't do that.
Yep.
I mean,
Okay, so we saw the same thing.
Right. And so, having said that, for the first time, I'm ready and willing to accept a change at quarterback because look, you look around this league, there are a lot of teams that have quarterback play that is putrid. Look, I watched that game in
Most teams.
London. I watched the game in London.
Oh, Nick's looks like garbage sometimes,
Well,
but then he looks great some other times.
not just that, but
Yeah.
Justin
Justin
Fields had negative 10 yards passing.
For the game.
Look, yeah,
For the
for
whole
the game,
game.
for the game. And so there are a lot of teams out there that don't have quarterback play like we have in Kyler.
Yes.
And so I'm not ready to give up. But I finally saw. I said, "Well, look," and to his credit, Kyler is who he is. He's a 5'10", 5'11" quarterback.
They say that.
That can't that can't see over the top the way a
Yeah. Over the middle.
a 6'4"
Yeah,
Jacoby Brissett does. So
And it was
so
awesome.
he built. So I but I do for the first time see that man that height really does come in.
Well, we
come in.
always-
Hey,
knew
so,
that'd be an
so
issue.
real quick, so
Yep.
so you brought up quarterbacks. I'm gonna throw
No.
these names
He
out
looked
at
them
you.
out there.
No.
I just named a bunch
Okay.
of them.
Okay. Do you remember Tony Sacca? He was a
I-
second round pick.
I do.
Stony Case.
I do.
Was a third rounder.
He went to NAU at one point, right?
He came from New Mexico. We drafted him
Yeah,
from New
there you
Mexico.
go. Yeah,
Lobo.
yeah, but he played at NAU, I think, for a
You have
couple
Jake
years.
Plummer. You have Chris Greisen, was a drafted quarterback. Josh McCown, who lasted forever. How about John Navarre? He threw.
That's who I was trying to think
I
of.
think he threw
Michigan.
to Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he went. He got
did
his
throw-
start
he
up
did-
there
he did
in
throw-
Detroit for
Yeah.
that game. Remember?
Matt Leinart.
That was with Denny
here.
Green.
Don't ever forget John Skelton.
That's who I was trying to think of. The other tall kid with Max Hall. They were rotating.
Ryan
them.
Lindley started a few games.
was-
Logan Thomas.
that was
Remember
injury.
Logan
I
They
do.
converted tight end now.
Yeah, they tied in, but they Lindley started because of injury at the end of the season.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
to
look.
give that some
So
fairness.
I have seen enough quarterback play here to know that when I see one that gives you a chance to win, and I lurch on him, and that was Kyler Murray.
But with that,
Because you didn't even mention Josh Rosen,
No.
who lasted
No,
1
that's
year
right. Yeah, that's
and was
right.
a first round pick.
three wins. Yeah. Was
So
it
what do
10?
you do, Coop? What do you do for
well-
this coaching staff?
Yeah, well, here's before we get to that, I want to play some clips here to set this up because this is interesting. Did you see Gannon's press conference yesterday?
I did not.
Okay, so let's play these first because it might change your opinion a little bit. First of all, Gannon talked about Kyler Murray. There's no quarterback controversy in that room in terms of the Cardinals facility. Here's what Gannon said about Kyler Murray.
No, when he's out there ready to play, he'll play.
I mean, definitive as you can get, right? But I just wanted to play that first. But then, right, I've been complaining. You got to make some changes to change your team. The big change was Jacoby Brissett, and you saw that offense run a little bit smoother. We'll break down a little bit more on that. But Jonathan Gannon was asked yesterday, well, are you making a lot of big changes to trying to change this up and everything? And this is where I start to go sideways on Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon on big changes possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we've tweaked some things, It's not difficult. I'll be honest with you. You double down on what you know is true. You take in the facts. These are the facts. You take emotion out of it, and you solve problems. You got to find solutions. So you got to have a steady mind to do that. But I think our guys are trained that way. Our coaches are. And if you want to turn it around with a lot of ball left here, we're mid-October, a lot of ball left. You got to find solutions and you got to play better. So it's a good question, but you don't. You double down on what you know to be true and get better at your process.
Your process isn't working.
Yeah.
What are you doubling? You're doubling down on something that isn't working.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I know a week ago this time, I expressed on this very show that what I saw against the Tennessee Titans on that Sunday, last Sunday, was enough to make me say that's the worst loss I've ever seen this team have in Arizona Cardinals history. And keep in mind, I've been in a lot of somber and sorry locker rooms post-game afterwards. I've never seen, and so I really was concerned about their attitude about how that would affect their play if it was domino. I didn't know how it would affect them psychologically.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. Boy, I tip of the hat to the coaching staff because I was shocked by what I saw. I thought they played well, save the defense. I mean, the defense,
They're
just
regressing.
couldn't. They couldn't stop a cold.
Jonathan Gannon said about the run defense, quote, I honestly think we took a step back. That's been up to par until this last one. They've been getting exposed and gashed all season long on the running game, especially late in the game.
I don't know about being gashed, but I did point this out to Steve yesterday and want you to keep an eye on it too. Calais Campbell's played a lot of snaps. I mean, the first couple games he was dominant.
Got a couple wins because of him.
This past Sunday, 3 times that I saw, he was a quarter, not even a half, a quarter of a step late to close the gap, to make a tackle, and Jonathan Taylor's off to the races. Instead of getting tackled for a 1-yard gain, he gains 12. Just keep an eye on some of these guys because Calais Campbell did not come here to play 60 snaps a game for 17 games.
Yeah.
And you got to get those first-round picks
Yeah.
in here going.
Yeah, I mean, look. I don't know what's going on with Darius Robinson. He was
Pectoral issue is what they're saying
Well,
now.
let me tell you, his rookie year, it was a calf injury.
Yep.
The same type of injury that has Walter Nolan not playing. Look, and then I look around the league. I'm watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, their game. They played against Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
And I'm watching Derek Harmon. That was their first round pick. Matter of fact, there were 3 picks later than the Cardinals with Walter Nolan. He's out there making game-winning plays or significant plays. I mean, and so I'm like, wow. And granted, it was Cleveland that they're playing, but that's beside the point.
Making plays
He's
against
making
every play.
plays. Absolutely, Dale. Absolutely. And so, so now you're forced to play the 90-year-old. Oh, I didn't say 90. I'm sorry, Clay.
You said it last week too.
Yeah. The old man, Calais Campbell, more than you want to.
Yeah, but that's
And-
what. Go ahead.
And they're having to go down to their practice squad and activate players
Right.
to fill that game day
But
roster.
last year they had, like I said, and I just forgot his name, the long-haired guy. I forgot his name just now.
Dennis Gardeck.
Gardeck, right? He goes down with a knee injury. They had a replacement to go in there and play just as hard as he did and fought for it and everything. It just wears the heart. Kazir White wouldn't put up with garbage. Not the most talented player, but he would knock the socks off of somebody and run wherever to get the tackle. You don't have that drive with these guys that are expected, if they're even on the field at this point, and that stuff. But going back to the quarterback situation, because that's the big – I mean, Jonathan Gannon even said this yesterday, and I have the transcript here because I couldn't find audio that I liked when Cardinals audio for some reason got a little messed up on it. But he says in terms of the defense side of things, I don't want to say it's the same old story, but when you're losing, a lot of those same things is the reason why. And I'm always going to tell them the truth. So Jonathan Gannon's admitting you're losing the same ways every time. Penalties, defense, being out there too long, offense doing what it's doing out there. And again, it goes back to the ASU conversation. They're all young. They know they're having problems. And then whatever they're doing to fix it isn't working. And eventually you just go,
But you know what I
process.
see. You know what I see though, Steve. I see an Arizona Cardinals defense that plays well against the 49ers, and you lose 16-15 on a walk-off. I see the Cardinals defense play well against the Tennessee Titans. Save that last drive.
Well, they
and
were tired.
and they lose 22-21.
Yep.
And the sky's falling in because we're seeing Marvin Harrison drop passes offensively. We're seeing Kyler Murray not do something. So now all of a sudden you see an offense that's really gearing up. I mean, there's passes to Zay Jones. And keep in mind, a lot of these are because probably Marvin Harrison's knocked out of the game early with a concussion. But Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson, they're all being used along with Trey McBride. And so the offense looks good. They click up 27 points, but the defense gives 31. And
I have a video on. I want to play on that.
And so now all of a sudden it's like, okay, you go from a defense playing well to an offense that's not, and you're not happy. But now you're happy because an offense played well and a defense didn't, but the result is still the same.
Yeah, the defense still gave up a game-winning score at the end of the game.
But
Ultimately
it didn't make it. The only time the Colts didn't score in the second half was when they ran out the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
That's my point.
And so
You break down that game and they lost the same way they've lost the other games.
But if you look at it, this is what I'm just gauging from just what I'm hearing. Seems like our fan base is more excited about the offense playing well and the defense doing horribly than the reverse. When the bottom line is still the same, the result is still the same, a loss.
I think that confused the fan base because that was my point. You break this down, ultimately, it doesn't matter how well the offense played, you still lost the game late on a touchdown by them. This time, though, you had an opportunity to win it, but the offense did what it's done all year and failed at that. So basically, the same situation with Jacoby Brissett as the other three losses,
But
and
the
that's where it tells
offense-
me that's what tells me it's a team, issue.
The offense under Jacoby Brissett looks to me like an NFL offense.
You want to know why? Hey, Jonathan Gannon, tell us about the scheme here with Jacoby Brissett as quarterback.
Or are they two different quarterbacks? You know what I mean? I just wonder why
I'll have to question it.
so different with Jacoby at times on Sunday.
Well, I think too. It's a good question. That defense plays a little different than all the other games, and Green Bay is going to play different than them, so that lends its hand. But obviously we tailored a little bit the scheme going into this week with the possibility of Jacoby starting, I would say. So we kind of had that up. I thought it was a good job by Drew and his staff to make sure that we're putting Jacoby. It's just like all our guys, make sure that we're putting Jacoby in spots that he does well with, and I thought we did that.
I find that interesting.
Well, let me say this. Jacoby's been in the league for about 10 years plus. He's been on 4 or 5 different teams.
Right.
Different styles.
Again, he has. I think he has as a starter. He's like 18-35.
But it's on some bad teams.
Yeah. Well, the Cardinals are a good team.
That's a good point.
I mean, look. He is who he is. He's had games when he's played extraordinarily well. It's the problem is he's proven that he's not a starter because he can't sustain it.
Right.
It's just not sustainable.
You don't want him as your whole season.
So he's 32 years old now. He is not your future. He's a Band-Aid. He's brought in to win a game or two if you need him. So let's not get overly excited about Jacoby Brissett. He is who he is. But what I did say earlier in this show, he exposed some of the things that Kyler doesn't do well. But it goes back to my same things on this show. When you have a quarterback of his ability who can hurt you with his arms and legs, I don't know why they don't have more designed nakeds and
That's why I wanted
boots.
to play that clip. They changed their offensive scheme to set up Jacoby. Why aren't they doing that for Kyler? Kyler
Exactly.
bootlegs, Kyler this, Kyler that, and they don't refuse to do it. But they
Yeah.
changed the scheme for Jacoby Brissett to be successful. That's why I wanted to play that. It confounds me on where they're at. They either don't trust Kyler or they have no idea how to make play calls for Kyler to be successful.
Well, I don't believe that they don't trust him because I heard a lot of people were talking about, when it was a 4th down against Tennessee, 3rd and 8. And they ran the ball. Yeah. So they didn't trust him to do it. But I took you back to the 49ers game, the same situation on the road, 3rd and 8, and they threw it to Zay Jones. If he catches it and he's in his hands, good pass.
I don't think that's the case.
So,
I think they don't know how to coach Kyler. Is what I think it is.
I'll buy that.
They don't know. Like they want him to be in the pocket. They don't want him to roll out, so they're restricting it, even though that's his strength. But look at this game with Jacoby Brissett. How many 3rd and long? They had a 3rd and 8 that they converted. They had a 3rd and 15 that they converted. And they don't give Kyler the chance to do it. And he's a more dynamic guy than Jacoby Brissett is.
And the Cardinals, more often than not, under Kyler, they'll put together these long drives, and they get in the red zone, and then they wind up settling for field goals or
Yes.
either turning the ball over on downs. And so, and again, at that point of the field, and Dale knows this, I mean, if you have a quarterback that can put pressure on a defense, either with a decision to run, I mean, those poor second level and third level players, they don't know if they've come up or if they should stay back.
I'm a big
don't,
fan.
and I just don't understand for the life of me why there aren't plays like that in there.
This was the first time I saw the Cardinals offense put pressure on a defense in ways that kind of caught them off guard. They don't do that with Kyler, and that goes to that running point.
If you get Kyler's strength, and it puts so much pressure on defenses when you get him outside the pocket, and now, like you said, those linebackers are in coverage, those DBs with the threat of a run. And again, I don't care if it's just 5 yards. 2nd and 5, give me 2nd and 5 for every series that I start. I like that. But that just puts the defense in kind of a no-win situation. I know Kyler can throw a pretty deep ball, especially early in his career. I haven't seen it much lately, so I don't know if there's something that's changed about that. But I do know when you have a dynamic quarterback like that, the one thing you have to do is move him around. And if you're going to tell me, no, we're going to make him a pocket quarterback in year 7. That's stupidity, and that's going to cost you your job.
Bingo.
I just don't understand if they're willing, if they can change it to help out Jacoby. And it just goes back to it's just they might not understand what they're doing wrong in the process. The offense flowed differently. They had an over 300-yard game, but they also threw the ball down the field more opportunities to do so than they do when Kyler's his quarterback. I said it a lot of these games, and Kyler does not have a lot of opportunities to throw the ball down the field. Now, Will Hernandez being in there helped out that offensive line a little bit as well.
Well, let's go. But yes, he will. But let's look at the Baltimore Ravens as the most recent example. They have a quarterback that has the same type of skill set in terms of running with the ball that Kyler Murray does.
Right.
And they utilize him to that degree. They are a different team. I mean, they're like a Super Bowl contender, but when he's out,
They're
unrecognizable.
They look like they've never played football before.
And if the
offense
Cardinals
without him in
cannot utilize Kyler Murray's strength the way the Ravens use Lamar Jackson, it's
Well,
a
why
disservice.
wouldn't you spend all offseason watching Baltimore Ravens
I don't
film?
know.
That's what I don't get.
Before we get out of here, I just want you to say this in your mind, okay? 2-5 or 3-4. 2-5 to me sounds like season's kind of over.
Absolutely.
Going into the bye week, 2-5. 3-4, in my mind, I have a little bit of hope. I think this game's super important this week. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them, but it's super important. Because if you can get to 3-4, have the bye week, and have a chance to maybe rectify some things and get some people healthy, maybe Walter Nolan Robinson might come back. You never know. But if you go 2-5 in the easy part of your schedule,
So what do you do? What I do is Kyler's foot hurts him too much. He can't play against the Packers this week. Jacoby Brissett gets the start.
Absolutely.
Bring him back against Monday night. If he's like they're saying where he's the quarterback regardless, Kyler gets an extra week off. I would argue most quarterbacks they can learn something by sitting on the sideline a little bit. Pressure's off of them. They have the earpiece in. They can see things a little bit different, and especially if there's an older quarterback in there. I'm not too sure Kyler's that guy to do it, but that's how I would play this coming up.
How I would play it from the quarterback standpoint, just as you said. But if I'm Monty Osborne, I'm looking at that trading deadline, and I'm looking at teams like the New York Jets who are just going south, and they have a running back like Breece Hall that's probably available, or Garrett Williams. I'm looking to start purging from other teams because we saw the Cleveland Cleveland Browns look like they're doing a sell-off.
Yeah.
I'm looking to purge from other teams. I may have to give up some draft capital, but I'm trying to win.
He's not
I'll do it.
drafting well. Why?
No,
Take away the draft capital
He
because
sure
he's
isn't.
not doing well.
Hey,
that's a good
we
point.
use another Walter Nolan. We don't need it next year.
That would be my argument, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
at the Cardinals games, we sit by the Monty family suite there. So we've gotten to know his mom and everything, and I've said this on it. Like it's very like I just sit there and I'm just stoic when it comes to stuff because obviously his family's behind us. And I would never like be egregious about it anyway.
right.
But I see their perspective and their proudness. But there was a guy sitting in that box last week for the last home game where he was just like, and these players suck. They give no effort. I was just like, this is a guy. I don't know who he was, but I was like, this is a guy sitting in the GM's box. So obviously he knows him, you know. But he was being verbally, loud as can be about how the effort wasn't there and these guys are bums. You know, he wasn't saying that, but basically alluding to that. So even I think in that deal, I'm sure there's some conversations of people not performing. And I'm just going to say it being bust out there.
But here's my point. The Cardinals are down to their like fourth and fifth running backs. I mean, we're talking practice squatters. I mean, if
even
you
worse
look
now,
around,
if DeMarcari's not out there.
Yeah. And so if you look, you look in the draft and you say, okay, I like certain players, but you just don't know if they're going to be available.
Right.
But you have a chance to go out and get some
Yes.
proven guys
I
because
agree.
some teams are going. I don't know why they don't do anything.
Coop, I've always said this. Give me a guy who I've seen do it at the NFL level over maybe a guy I think might be more talented who I don't know how he's going to adjust to the National
Especially
Football
especially at the running back position. A lot of running backs do not perform in the NFL level. We're seeing that. Trey Benson, second year.
Oh, by the way, 2 years ago, the Cardinals had the second overall pick, and they traded down with the Houston Texans, and then they traded back up. I didn't want them to trade, period. I didn't want Will Anderson. I wanted some guy named Bijan Robinson, who I
You
was.
see him last night?
Oh, I did. And so, look, Dale knows this. I mean, he won the what's that award they give to the? Oh man, I'm losing the guy's name. Oh, it's the Heisman Trophy of Arizona High School.
Okay.
And,
He went to a Tucson high school that people don't know.
well, yeah, but he came up to the Valley because I'm emceeing the deal, so he won.
I want to meet you.
And and so I'm like, everything I saw about this, gotta have him. So I was trying to ask him how solid his commitment was to Texas. I mean, look, you Arizona State, you're out here. But look, that said. I don't give a rat's behind about all this talk about, you don't draft a running back in the first round, this, that, the other. You get him in the seventh round. No, I'm taking my guys now. So Cardinals took Paris Johnson. I wanted
Yeah,
Bijan
but
Robinson.
they didn't do wrong with Paris Johnson.
No,
At least
but-
it's not like when Adrian Peterson was in the draft and they went with that lineman.
Well,
that
it's
was
funny you say that
least it
because
wasn't that
funny you
position.
say that because I got in a big argument. I can tell you this story where we're on. I know we
No,
got
we got overtime. We're good.
Look,
If you got time.
Look, the Phoenix Suns were in the playoffs. They were playing against the Los Angeles Lakers. So the NFL draft used to be on Saturdays, and so Suns played a Friday night game, and so we're out the next day. Suns have a closed practice. We're all waiting outside, and so the draft's underway, and everybody there in the media there, local Arizona media. They were okay with Levi Brown because I remember Joe Thomas was the first lineman to come off the board. And I'm like, no, it's Adrian Peterson. I mean, that's Coop. You're high. Adrian Peterson. And only one media member has ever, since that time, come back and say, Coop, you were right. But that's beside the point.
Who was
I know,
it?
who was that? Who was that genius?
It was Jerry Brown, who used to work with the Tribune.
Yeah.
But because everybody else just argued with me and berated me and stuff like that, and so that's neither here nor there. But I've always been under this position, dude. You take the best running backs, or you take the best skill position players. That skill position, and I know Dale don't like this, but I said unless I'm at a point on my team where I can plug in an offensive lineman and he'd be a difference maker, I'm not taking him in the first round. I learned that in a draft with Tony Mandrich after the Cowboys took Troy Aikman. And then after that, Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas.
But then you
Deion
got
Sanders.
guys, you take the best player in the draft is what you do. But then you got guys like the Lions, who Lions drafted a guy last year in the first round as an offensive lineman. I think it was first round, might have been second.
couple
and he's
years ago.
starting this year for him. They didn't draft him last year so he could start for him last year. They drafted him to be ready to take over and come up with
Okay,
retirements
but
of
see,
people leaving.
but
And the Cardinals don't even do that.
But see, here's the deal. Like I said, the Lions are in a different position.
Yes,
they
I agree
are
with
in
that.
a different
You're right,
position.
Hey,
And-
but Robinson's only averaging 6 yards per carry.
Did you see?
Coop.
But he's
We
special.
can't use
Did you
that.
see him last night
We
with that
can't
with that
use
run?
that.
There's something special about him.
I always say I love backs that are dual threats, can catch the ball and run the ball. And so and you guys aren't gonna believe this. Yeah, here's another story for you because my people at Channel 12 can tell you this. It goes back. Bruce Arians is the head coach, and Larry Fitzgerald really doesn't have any help. So I have the Cardinals giving up 2 first-round picks for DeAndre Hopkins. Now this is like 4 years before they actually signed
they
him.
did.
So and then I said for my second-round pick, I'm taking Alvin Kamara. I said because I need a running back that when I take David Johnson off the field, I'm not giving away that, he's in a run or he's just here to pass. I said David can run and catch. I need a like-type player. Dude, I don't need to tell you what Alvin Kamara has become and what DeAndre Hopkins was after that. Look, I'm telling you, it's skill. You have to take those skill position players when you can.
But they did.
Okay,
They took
so
they
the
took a
rest-
Marvin Harrison Jr. number 4.
Well, you know what, and sometimes, and that's shocking that he has struggled the way he has. But I tell you what,
The level he's at is shocking, but I know I won't speak for Dale, but I know I wasn't sold that he was the best receiver in that draft class. You know.
yeah. I'll have to go ahead and say that I was all for Marvin Harrison over.
Well, that's what I was going to do.
stuff
So the
like
rest
that,
of this week, I'm going to go back and pull up all the Channel 12 footage over the last 20 years. Because all I'm hearing is Bruce is right. And I know Bruce ain't always right.
You could probably just walk over there and ask them, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we have all Bruce's stuff right here."
Do you know that they went to remember that year? Bruce Arians, we were at the Phoenix Open, the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and so he had a book signing deal where he invited all the media, so out of print, radio, TV, we're all there to do interviews with. Do you know that my people at 12 threw me under the bus? Because, see, I every year, you guys know I'm a draft man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a
Yes,
draft man.
you are, yes.
Every year, and I do one on Channel 12. So I put that deal together about I'm trading away my 2 first-round picks for DeAndre Hopkins. Do you know that they threw me under the bus? They went to Bruce Arians and asked him that, and they put it on. They ran it on, put it on camera because they were going to run it on TV. I'm like, dude. And so Bruce was being very political. He says, well, I have a tough time giving up 1 first-round pick, let alone 2. Right. So they wanted to run that on air and bust me and stuff like that.
That we could probably find.
My people do me
wrong. The thing I want to leave you with here is what I noticed with Jacoby Brissett, and I noticed it with the Bills. I noticed it with the better teams in the league, even a little bit the Lions out there. What I noticed with Jacoby Brissett is I used the word calm. There was that calmness with the Cardinals. When Kyler Murray is on offense, it's chaos. It's a lot of stress. I find myself watching him, whether I'm in person or at home. I find myself kind of tensing up a little bit when they're on offense. With Jacoby Brissett, I've never been more relaxed watching a Cardinals offense.
Yeah. Look. When Kyler gets under duress, when he's able to escape, you say, "Wow, that was fantastic." When he can't escape, brother, he's going to make some ill-advised
flick of the ball at the 5-yard line.
It's amazing. I don't get that.
And then Garrett Wilson, the receiver, came out after the game at his locker room when he said, Jacoby Brissett brought us a calmness today. He used my word to describe the offense. So that's the other thing where I'd like to see Brissett this weekend. It's just maybe Kyler can learn some of that calmness out there because chaos – for your team on the field, you want the other team to feel the chaos, but when your receivers have a lot of chaos and your running backs have a lot of chaos, that's got to be detrimental to you out there on the field.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'd almost like to see Kyler come back because I love what I saw from Brissett. And just based on his history of not being able to sustain it,
but he can get 2 games out of him.
You think, okay, well, if he can get 2, I'm good with it.
I've always said Brissett's good for 2, 3, and then Kyler comes back in. Just with the bye week, you've got a built-in excuse. And I said it last week with Kyler starting, or with Kyler sitting. I said you got a built-in excuse with an injury to try something different and kind of change the bad vibes around this team with Green Bay. If Kyler comes back this week and they get destroyed by Green Bay, you go right back to that negative imagery.
Well, here's the deal. The Green Bay Packers, they have some dude named Micah Parsons on one end and some other guy named Rashawn Gary on the other.
You're gonna need him to scramble?
I think Brissett could be in trouble.
Did
So
you see that first drive of the game when Michael Carter missed? Oh, he hit him and got just blown up, and Brissett got hit. And I was like, oh, we're going to need whoever the backup is to Brissett. He got hit so hard on that first drive with Michael Carter not picking up that blitzer.
Yeah. So
who is the backup quarterback behind Brissett? Does anybody even know?
It's Keaton Slovis.
Yeah, that's right.
Dale knows Keaton.
Oh, another local product.
Who went to like 17 different colleges.
Desert Mountain, I think.
Desert Mountain is correct, Dale.
What, SC and then a bunch of other
yeah,
places.
USC and a bunch of other places.
We went into overtime. Robert says Kyler Murray, DeAndre Ayton, Justin Upton are all similar. Talented, but not franchise guys. It's an unfortunate thing to have the number one pick.
I don't know that it's unfortunate to have the number one pick. Look,
it is for our local teams. It's his point there.
Well, look, let me take you there. Take you this. Baker Mayfield was the number one overall pick. They blew him out of Cleveland. Look, and then he had other stops.
But he's not Carolina. But he's not Baker
Carolina,
Mayfield. Isn't the player he was in Cleveland?
So
he's grown up.
Okay. So did Sam Darnold grow up?
Yes.
Okay.
And he got coaching.
But I can start naming you quarterbacks.
How about Indiana Jones?
Huh?
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Indiana. I can start naming you quarterbacks that it didn't work. And that's always my biggest fear.
Well, that's the problem. Kyler Murray leaves. He of everybody you just named, he's got more potential than the guys you just named to go someplace else and look like a Hall of Famer.
And that's what that's what I fear with this, And so I'm not so willing to give up. But if I saw that the Cardinals were utilizing his strengths,
that's what I'm disappointed.
I would be okay, and he's failing. I'd be okay with getting rid of him.
Yeah.
But I would hate to see him go to another team and they play to his strengths, and then I'm watching him do, and I'm like, that gummit.
Going to the playoffs.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, let's get out of here for today. McCollum on Business coming up probably around noon. I think we have something happening here. Here to delay that. It'll be 11 or noon out there for live, of course. Pit Stop is up for the Look Back show also here, Robat TV, and on the YouTube page as well. Catch this coming up. Bruce, bring in the opinions. We'll have to break up this fight
right
afterwards. Dale's just jealous when you show up.
Boy, go Wildcats!
See y'all tomorrow, everybody.